Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun, enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Michegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes sweet and sassy. Not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
What's up? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Today's Thursday, November 27th. Wow, 2025. And it's Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful for all of you. And I thought I would go live today. I just didn't know when. So really, if you didn't get a notification, it's because I just did it. I just hit go, basically. Maybe there was a half-hour notification, maybe not. I don't know. YouTube's been wonky for a long time anyway. But here we are. Giving thanks for each of you. My chatters, my cupcakes. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We can talk about whatever you want. Listen, there's a lot of people who have a lot of childhood trauma around holidays, and I'm here for you. And there are a lot of people who have nobody to spend Thanksgiving with, and so we are all here for you. If you've been alone today, never fear, because we're here. We're here to keep you company on this November 27th of 2025. It's hard to believe that December 1st is Monday, and Monday, the Brian Walsh trial is starting. So catch up on the playlist, because opening statements are going to be on Monday, and it's going to be great. Look at Gigi. Oh, Gigi, you changed your name. Gigi changed her name to Gigi's Got Your Back. She became a member, and then, wait for it, she gifted not just 10 memberships, but 20 memberships. Gigi, you're too good to me. And then, welcome to the 20 new members. She threw in a $100 super chat and said, I'm not allowed to chat because of the youths of the two. I don't know what that means, Gigi. Send me the link to your channel. But I'm back. Melanie, you're beyond gracious for having a stream tonight. I know my granddaughter, Layton, is about to hear your intro. Hi, Layton. I had to have her a sweatshirt made like my It Strains Credulity. Well, we can get her one of those. We still have those. They're still available. Thank you, Gigi. You're very generous. And Candace says, happy Thanksgiving cupcakes. Did anybody have cupcakes for Thanksgiving? Because really, what's better than Thanksgiving cupcakes? And Maureen is here. Happy Thanksgiving, Maureen. She's been here for 23 months. Maureen's an OG. Maureen, Francis, and Aunt Bibi, I think, were my first two members that I ever had on my channel when I first opened memberships. Thank you, On Top, for being on top of the super stickers, as always. And Jen is here, and she says, thank them so much for being here. I got kicked out of Thanksgiving because I had strep. This is the first time I've smiled all day. Yay, Jen, we're here to keep you company. You won't be breathing on any of us, so we don't mind having you here at all. And that's, when I was a kid, I feel like I had really bad tonsils. And like back in the day, they really didn't take tonsils out the way they do now. And I probably should have had my tonsils out at a very young age, but I never did. And I remember getting deathly ill on so many holidays and having to never leave my room on Thanksgiving and Christmas so often because of the horrific tonsillitis that I used to get. So I feel your pain. Feel your pain. So we're happy to be here with you today. And I know many of you are. And look, so many people are alone today. Somebody said I'm alone and working in Florida. Scott Messerschmidt is here. Thank you to Scott, because I wanted to give the mods like the day off today. So I thought I would just do something real quick and real last minute so that we could, cut down on the troll factor. But really, does it count? Does it ever matter how much notice we give? So thank you, Scott, for being here. Obviously, if you would rather go spend time with your family than moderate this stream, please go do that. Please go do that. I think I can handle it. I think I can handle it by myself for one night, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going on out there on the tubes of you and the insanity land because I just don't pay attention. I'm glad to make you smile, Jen. Thanks for your 5. And Glamis Susan's here and says the House defendants may not be able to go federal as the MSP and Canton have to consent to federal jurisdiction. It may not be feasible. Poor folks. Well, yeah, and I don't know if they would have jurisdiction over the town of Canton and the MSP in federal court. I don't know. Did a filing come out? I don't think a filing would have come out because the court's closed today. And I don't know if federal court is closed tomorrow, but yeah. The federal judge will decide whether or not jurisdiction is proper. But until that time, because the notice of removal has been filed by the House defendants in the Reed versus everyone case, Reed versus Proctor, really, et al., nothing can happen in the state court right now until the federal judge decides that. So we'll see. I'm sure if there was something new, you would have sent it to me, right, Suze? Happy Thanksgiving, Suze. And then Cupcakes for Justice. I love your name. Gifted another 5 memberships. There's already 25 new members today. So check out all of the really cool emojis that we have for members. Thank you for your generosity. And the Goodwins are here. Hi, Goodwins. Thanksgiving and football is what I think that says. Turkey and football. So what do you guys want to talk about? What you guys want to talk about today? Makazi G, happy Thanksgiving. UK is here. Hello, Tilly4444. These usernames are really screwing with me. And Kim is here. She says, first time commenting. Welcome, Kim, the Palm Lady. Just got home from visiting my dad in the NICU. Well, I hope everything is going okay. Well, isn't the NICU the neonatal ICU? So maybe your dad is in the ICU? I'm so sorry, and I hope he's feeling better soon. We didn't do yet, you guys. We didn't read Brian Tully's affidavit and Ken Mello's affidavit in the Aiden Carney papers. So, that's always a fun thing to do on Thanksgiving. That's always fun. We could do that because we haven't done that yet. I don't know. What do you guys think? So many things just keep getting lost. You know what else got lost? The dash cam of MICHAEL FOSLER in the Aaron Spencer case. Yeah. Thanks to Kelly Reed just sent me that earlier. And that's interesting and horrific. But it seems that the dash cam footage of MICHAEL FOSLER, and this is on the Aaron Spencer Facebook page. An hour ago, they said, you're not going to believe this one, but here we are. Maybe I should just put the post up and read it, since many of you are following that case with me. So you can see the receipts on this because we like receipts. I'm here for all the tea. I'm here for all your childhood trauma around Thanksgiving and other holidays. Because I don't know. I guess if you know, you know. I try and make holidays really easy for my kids because there's a lot of trauma around holidays for a lot of us. Okay, here we go. Check this out. We support Aaron Spencer on the Facebook page it says only an hour ago, they posted this. It says, you're not going to believe this one, but here we are. The Lonoke County Sheriff's Office has pulled off yet another masterpiece of incompetence. They somehow lost the dash cam memory card from FOSLER's truck. FOSLER, if you don't know, MICHAEL FOSLER is the 67-year-old man in Arkansas who raped Aaron Spencer's 13 and then 14-year-old daughter over the course of many, 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 many months. He was charged with something like 43 felonies in Arkansas. Judge Barbara Elmore in Lonoke County let him out on $5,000 cash so that he could go and abuse her some more for a couple more months, unbeknownst to the Spencers. And then one October night in 2024, when MICHAEL FOSLER kidnapped Aaron Spencer's daughter and was doing things with her and driving in his truck with her, Aaron Spencer noticed that his daughter was missing. Her bed was stuffed. His wife called 911 to report. He went out looking for his daughter, and by the grace of God, found Fosler's truck heading back toward Aaron Spencer's house with his daughter, who was then 14, in the front seat. After running him off the road and fearing for his daughter's life, Aaron Spencer shot and took the life of this 67-year-old MICHAEL FOSLER, child rapist. And now Aaron Spencer is being charged with murder. And the same judge, Barbara Elmore, is trying the case. You just can't make this up. You just can't. And now Aaron Spencer is running for sheriff in Lonoke County. The movie on this is going to be phenomenal. But here's what it says here. You're not going to believe this one, but here we are. The Lonoke County Sheriff's Office has pulled off yet another masterpiece of incompetence. They somehow lost the dash camera memory card from Fosler's truck. Yes, the one piece of evidence that could have shown exactly what happened the night Mr. Spencer protected his 14-year-old daughter from a 43-count child predator. Yeah, 43 felony counts just vanished. They removed the card. They didn't secure it, didn't log it, didn't bag it, didn't follow any evidence handling procedure that every rookie learns on day one. And now their official explanation? It must have, quote, fallen out in transit. Oh, sure. Like a critical piece of evidence just falls out of police custody and walks away on its own. This isn't a mistake. It's a violation of basic justice. When a father's future is on the line, the sheriff's office can't even keep track of the very evidence that could clear him. Below you will see Mr. Spencer's legal team has already filed for an adverse inference jury instruction and a hearing on the destruction of evidence because someone has to hold the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office accountable. Stay loud, stay engaged. We're not letting this get swept under the rug, no matter how hard they try to accidentally lose the truth. Wow. Yeah, we do need the BS button. It's right here. Wow. Wow. Isn't that crazy? And so I guess there's a new motion out there that was filed yesterday, maybe the day before. I don't think we're going to do that tonight. I was trying to stay away from bad news tonight and try and keep us to like good news. Talk about some fun things tonight because, it's Thanksgiving. We should be thankful. Yet, that just might be the get out of jail free card for Aaron Spencer. That lost, what are they calling it? Memory card from Fosler's truck. Maybe it's a get out of jail free card for Aaron Spencer. What do you think? I mean, that's wild, don't you think? I mean, do they bag evidence anywhere? They don't do it in Norfolk County. Why would they do it in? Oops, hold on. Craft ass. It was like, fun things exist. I don't know. Can you guys tell me some fun things? Maybe we could find something fun to cover. I'm down for it. Boston Babe Forever says they sit on a throne of lies. Don't they, though? Don't they? Amy says things fall out in transit. I thought the bags were sealed. Must have been a red Solo cup. I heard those were really good for evidence collection. Yeah, they're really good. I mean, even ask the audit company that audited the Canton PD. Didn't they think that was a novel idea? Such a novel idea. Thank you, Miss Scarlett. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And Lovely Flight says, I am thankful for the truth. Tell me what you guys are thankful for today. Let's talk about something good. Tell me something good. Who sings that song? Tell me that you like it. This case should have been dismissed already. Now more, says Leah. Yes. Yes. Should have been. Thank you, Mazza Media. Mazza Media has come here to say free Kelsey and also happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. It is very sad that Kelsey sits in a jail cell today. Not with her child and her family because of one judge's opinion on not just dangerousness, but whether or not there's a less restrictive way to test Kelsey Fitzsimmons for alcohol monitoring other than forcing her to breathe into a scram monitor device with a collapsed lung, a couple broken ribs, a lacerated liver, and many other injuries after she was shot in the chest by a fellow police officer. Trying not to get outraged today, but how could I not be? Kelsey Fitzsimmons is sitting in jail in Chicopee, far enough away that her family probably can barely even visit her because it's like 2 hours away from Salem, right, you guys? Wow. That's true, Kim. That's true. Kim is reminding me that they planted evidence in the squad car right when they put Aaron Spencer in there. Yes, that's right. They planted false evidence in the squad car saying it was Spencer's, pipe, like a crack pipe, right? Which was proven false, that Spencer did had anything in his system when they had his blood drawn, 100%. Right. And he was like, the second he got into that squad car, he jumped out and said, wait a second, what is that? That's not my pipe. What does that do in there? That's not my paraphernalia. And apparently that's not the first time that's happened in Lonoke County, right? Yes, that happened because there was a motion to exclude it, and we went over that very, very early when we first started covering the case. So if you haven't watched the Aaron Spencer coverage, there's an entire playlist. There's entire playlists on most cases, including Brian Walsh. So you might want to bone up on the Brian Walsh case for Monday because opening statements for Monday in Norfolk County. And it's going to be a great trial. Brian Walsh has pled guilty to the 2 lower charges of his indictment. He has pled guilty to the illegal movement of the remains of Anna Walsh. And he has pled guilty to lying to the police about his whereabouts, but he still will stand trial for murder, for the murder of Anna Walsh. And there is no body, and her body's never been found. So it's going to be interesting to see what his defense is. And I think he's going to have to testify, right? He's going to have to testify because how is he going to explain? What other evidence will explain how he came to be at Home Depot buying all that stuff? And look, there's pictures of him. There's video of him getting stuff at Home Depot or Home Goods, buckets and cleanup gear and mops and Tyvek suits and hacksaw and a hatchet. There's video. He's going to have to explain it. And I think he's going to have to take the stand. I don't know how else they're going to explain it, right? So I think he's going to take the stand. Rhonda, that's what I think is going to happen. And so it's going to make for a very, very interesting trial. A very interesting trial. Kelsey wasn't charged with a DUI, says Bonnie. Why does she need to breathe into that? Well, because Justin and his friends filed some papers saying that Kelsey has, problem with alcohol. Yes, I'm going to do the trial gavel to gavel every day, starting Monday. Starts on Monday. And so, based on this ex parte application, a district court judge ordered a stay away order and ordered a baby takeaway order. And they went to Kelsey's house and they executed they served those warrants, those orders on her. And that's when her co-worker, police officer, not a rookie, a veteran of over 20 years, shot her in the chest. He said that she pulled out her gun, pointed it at him. She said she pulled out her gun and pointed it at herself. He said, she said, grand jury didn't indict on the attempted murder. So apparently the grand jury didn't believe him either. But Judge Kathleen McCarthy Nyman decided she was going to have her alcohol tested. I don't know that there's really any proof of her having an alcohol problem. She's postpartum. She had postpartum depression. She was breastfeeding. But, Justin said that she got drunk at her bachelorette party. And so therefore he was afraid that he was fearful that she would hurt herself or hurt the baby. He never said she threatened to hurt the baby. This whole thing is a mess. It's crazy. Yeah. And Chach says that too. I keep thinking that Kelsey's that taking Kelsey's child because of postpartum is why women don't get help for it. Right. Right. If it's going to be used against you, why would you get help for it? Right. I mean, it's kind of Handmaid's Tale-esque. Have any Handmaid's Tale fans here? A lot of things going on there. A lot of things going on there. I did not hear from Bettero after that crazy response from Kazi G. I did not hear from him. I hope he's okay. Yeah, I don't know about Justin hiring a PR company. I don't have receipts on that, so I don't want to speculate about that. And I do know, or I heard anyway, I heard directly from Linda Kenny Bodden on her show that her shows have been taken down. Her show's on Kelsey because of alleged, I don't know, bullying or what, or something. I don't know. So I have no idea if that's true about the PR company, if that's what's going on there. And I don't really know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to get around that if he doesn't get on the stand, says Linda Lane. I know. So that's why I think it's one of the reasons why I think it's going to be so interesting, this trial. So interesting. Venus Blue says Lonoke County lost the dash cam memory card to Fosler's truck because, of course, they did. It was just posted on Aaron's Facebook group. I'm alone today. Oh, I'm sorry. That crossed over. Look at us. Great minds think alike, right? I saw to pull that up before I saw your super chat. And so we're here with you, Venus Blue. We're here with you. Cupcakes to the rescue. We got your back, says love you, Mel. She's been here for 9 months. Thank you, she or he. And Redondo Beach is here. I love Redondo Beach so much. Give me a Cardi B hello for Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, I aim to please and all that, right? Hold on. Who doesn't need Cardi B?
Hello.
Hello. Hello, I'm here.
There she is. All for you, Redondo Beach. My favorite part of California is the South Bay. I would move there in a second if I could. I just might. Thanks for being here for 3 months. And Mark McKay says, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for carrying the fire for justice. Well, thank you so much for tuning in from across the pond, Mark. And Undercover Angels here for 11 months. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Karen says, happy Thanksgiving, Melon Cupcakes from Ireland. Look, Ireland's here. The world is watching. The whole world is watching. They are. Thanks for being here for 7 months. Breast 6073 says, how does that shift to federal court go if Michael Proctor supposedly can't afford or find a lawyer? Yeah. Well, that's interesting too. He's lawyerless. He's lawyerless. They served a couple of subpoenas on him for records in the O'Keefe versus Reed case. Karen Reed's team served some subpoenas on him for records. And at the time, remember, his lawyer was the lawyer who represented him to try and get his job back, whose name is just escaping me right now. Somebody will tell me. And he had that lawyer for a little while. And then they pulled the plug on trying to get his job back after the total phone extraction dropped. And they kept asking for more time and more time and more time. And then they said, yeah, we don't represent Proctor anymore. And Proctor started dealing with the attorneys directly, saying, I need more time. I need more time. I'm trying to find a lawyer. I mean, he's going to get one. It was Moynihan. Thank you, Kathy. Daniel Moynihan was his attorney. He's going to have to find somebody to represent him, but it's not going to be Moynihan. And what the attorneys for the House defendants, one attorney representing all 5 House defendants, big problem in my opinion. He said that he got consent from Higgins' lawyer and from Tully's lawyer, but the Proctor doesn't have a lawyer yet. And it doesn't matter because a federal judge is going to have to decide whether or not jurisdiction is proper in federal court. And he can't get a free one anymore, says full questions, Barbara. And so we're going to have to see what happens. I mean, listen, if they want to be in federal court, that's okay. You better want what you wish for, though. Discovery is pretty strict. Gigi said, did you gift another 10 memberships? Wow, you're super generous tonight. I didn't DoorDash my Thanksgiving. Stop it, number one child. Stop it. I went out. We did a 1 p.m. dinner. And I came back to hang around with you guys. I didn't DoorDash my Thanksgiving. Stop. Thank you, Gigi, for another 10. And Charlie Lynn, thanks for the 5, says, just in for the money has hired a PR firm. Yeah, I mean, I heard about it in passing, but I don't have the receipts on it. So I don't like to spread rumors until I can confirm things for myself because, that gets people in trouble. Until I hear it from his, I don't know. I'd have to see a receipt. Mark gifted a membership. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you so much. I like the 1 p.m. dinner because it's like so much easier to just get done with it and then move on with your day. No dishes, no leftovers. It's the best. No, I actually did bring some turkey home. Terry says, any news on the Gigliotti case in Haverhill, Mass, right next door to North Andover, where Kelsey's case happened? I covered it. Did I cover it? I covered it a bit in the beginning, but I haven't covered it since. And so I'm just not up to speed on it. So I can't tell you about anything that I haven't researched yet on my own. And here's Olivia Nile saying, one attorney for all House defendants can't stand. I also think Karen's attorneys provided by her insurance may have some conflicts of interest that'll create issues down the road. Well, we'll see. One attorney for all House defendants can never stand. I mean, it's a clear conflict of interest. And once he's represented all 5 of them, this James Tuxbury, he can't represent any of them. So I have a feeling he's going to be out, and they're going to have to hire other attorneys because once it would be a breach of privilege for him to represent one of them and not all the rest. It's going to be a problem. I don't know if they had him do it on a flat fee just to get it removed to federal court, but they're going to have to get their own lawyers. It is not going to be in any way, shape, or form appropriate for one attorney to represent Nicole and Brian, Albert, Matthew and Jen McCabe, and Brian Higgins. They all have competing interests here. So I don't know. And so, sorry, I don't have any news for you on the Francis Gigliotti case, Terry, but thanks for your 10. Lori Marie, grateful for your voice, advocacy, spirit, and humor. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you, Lori. 16 months. That's a long time. And Nicole says, should the union be helping Kelsey? I don't know, because she was not on duty when this happened. And so I have questions about that. And people have mentioned that maybe the union is not stepping up for Kelsey because she was not on duty. Having not done the deep dive into the collective bargaining agreement of the North Andover Police Department, which is what it would require me to do, I can't really answer that. But I know that Tim Bradle is not appointed by the union. He's a private attorney. Martha Coakley is not representing the union or not stepping in for the union. And so I have questions about that too. Thanks for being with me for 3 months. And Ginger Cat Pilates, thank you for your 5. Yeah, I like a 1 p.m. I know. If they can't afford an attorney, then they have to represent themselves in civil court. That's just the way it is. You don't get an appointed attorney in civil court, Criminal court you do, because you have a constitutional right. But not in civil court. Amy says, did nobody learn from Donna Adelson? Broke her heart bad when she couldn't keep using Charlie's attorney, right? Right. Which is even different though, right? Because this is multiple defendants and all 5 of them being represented by the same attorney. That's just, I mean, think about it. If Karen Reed is saying that those 5 plus Proctor, Tully, and Buchanan violated her civil rights and they conspired to do that. And if Higgins wants to say, listen, I wasn't involved in any of those group text messages. I was not involved in that group thread that said, tell him the guy never went in the house. I was not involved in any of those messages. It wasn't me, like the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. How could he be represented by the same attorney that's representing Jennifer McCabe? It just strains credulity. They even think that, right? It strains credulity. So, I mean, I don't know how that's going to fly. Good luck. Good luck to you. Sue says that's one major conflict of interest. No way can one attorney represent all 5 properly. I know. I mean, it's going to be, a federal judge is going to see that pretty quickly. Hi, Cal. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Just getting home. Thought I would pop in quick and say hello. Hello. St. Elmo's Fire says your opinion on the girl killed on the cruise by her stepbrother. Well, her stepbrother's being accused of it, right? I mean, I don't think he hasn't been convicted or anything, right? I mean, I started to look at that and it just got real messy real quick. And there's a lot of channels out there that like get in there and start like accusing family members of doing things historically, and it's just not, I don't know that that's really the case for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of dirty. It's like people blaming the girl's biological mother. There was a custody battle going on. There was some inappropriate behavior between the girl and the stepbrother. I just don't know if that's something that I can get passionate about. And the cases that I cover like thoroughly, and I have to be really into them because otherwise I don't want to do a deep dive into them. And so I don't know if that's one for me. I mean, historically, my audience guides me on what they want to hear about and listen to, but I'm the one who's got to be really interested in it too. So I just don't know if that's the one for me. Because it could get, I don't know. I just don't know how to describe it yet. I just don't know. And I can't commit to it yet. There's so many other things that we got going on. We got the Brian Walsh trial is going to probably take the entire month of December. I mean, it's scheduled to be like a 4-week trial. And so that's starting on Monday. I don't even know if that'll wrap before Christmas. And then we're into next year already. And then we're into Aaron Spencer's trial, which is not going to be televised, but that's happening in January. And so we'll see. Olivia said something that I did not see. Ginger Capilati says, not sure if I missed it, but any update on the Long Island woman who was killed on the boat from Long Beach? Yeah, the boat was from Long Beach, but she was killed in Montauk. And there was an article. Just let me see where it is, because I was gonna bring that up with you. And so now you're here, and I'm here, and I just have to find out where I put it. Because of course I put it in a show, and then what had happened was like something popped up, and we never got to cover it. So let me find it, because there was a good article on that. Not really a whole lot more information. Somebody sent me a link of, I think it was Law and Crime that did a piece on it the other day, but it was based on this article that I found. Was it in New York Magazine? Hold on a second. Oh, please. Yeah, it was in New York Magazine. All right, hang on. Oh, and guess what else? The Alexander brothers are going to trial in January. That's going to be in federal court, though. We won't be able to watch that. All right, let's talk about Martha Nolan. Let's read this article because this was interesting. It was a good piece in New York Magazine. And it doesn't really have anything new, but apparently her parents hired another doctor to do a second autopsy on her, and they didn't find enough like stuff in her system that could have killed her. So that's interesting. Aaron's trial, they don't allow cameras in the courtroom in Arkansas, from what I understand. So let's take a look at this. Martha Nolan was an Irish fashion designer that moved to New York a couple of years ago. She started a fashion company. And if you don't know about the story, the New York Magazine is going to tell you the story probably better than I could in a limited period of time. The mysterious death of a Hamptons fashion star. Martha Nolan made beachwear for celebrities and influencers. How did she end up dead at a yacht club? There she is. She's gorgeous. I'll fill in the details if they don't give you the details. Rest in peace, Martha. It was originally going to be a 3-person lunch meeting on a Saturday, and maybe Martha Nolan would be alive today if it had been. Nolan and her business partner, Dylan Grace, had been invited to discuss their startup beachwear company by its only outside investor, Christopher Durnan. Christopher Durnan was a deadhead. And he was from Long Beach, as was his boat. He had a couple of boats at the Montauk Yacht Club. A Long Island widower who'd made a fortune selling his insurance firm a few years earlier, Durnan had put $250,000 into Nolan and Grace's nascent Hamptons-themed swimwear and sunglasses brand, East by East. Nolan, a 33-year-old Irish immigrant, was betting everything on this startup and had pitched Durnan on a grand vision for the company. East by East would one day be sold on Revolve and in upscale department stores like Saks. It's a long-term game, she liked to say. In the past 3 summers, East by East had unveiled pop-up stores at some of Montauk's most exclusive spots, and Nolan looked the part of a Hamptons entrepreneur. She's very pretty, and I just know that the people she surrounded herself with are ultra-wealthy people that don't give a shit about money, said a club promoter who met Nolan around that time. The crowd they hang out with is like an upper echelon-y Hamptons crowd. It's like the jet set type people. Simon Cascante, the founder of Montauk Tequila, a local tequila brand, saw the same thing. She was engaging in high society, atmosphere. But East by East was still struggling to break out of the seasonal Montauk tourist economy, and Durnan, who owned a roughly 13% stake, seemed to be growing frustrated. Why aren't you guys everywhere already? He would ask Nolan and Grace. Finally, the duo admitted they were stuck. In order to expand, they needed to branch out into Miami and LA, and that would require investing more in advertising. Durnan, 60, was happy to play the benefactor. If you guys are looking for more money, let's sit down and talk about it, he suggested. This picture here is Martha Nolan and her partner. This is her partner all the way on the right, and the guy in the middle has nothing to do with this. He's just a friend. And you say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you. Name that artist. You got what I need. You say he's just a friend. Who's the first one to get? Who's going to be the first one to get it? But Saturday, Bismarcky. Thank you, Dr. Jen and Toxic. It's Bismarcky. But Saturday wasn't good for Nolan. She wanted to personally oversee her East by East shop on the beach at Gurney's Resort down the road during one of the busiest weekends of the summer, even though Grace assured her they had other people to staff it. Nolan insisted on meeting Monday, although that meant she would face Durnan alone, as Grace was leaving for a trip to Greece on Sunday. Martha does what Martha wants, or did, Grace, 30, told me. After losing his wife to suicide in 2018, Durnan, a deadhead and Irish rugby superfan, had become a loud and boisterous but largely welcome presence at a number of local Hamptons watering holes, someone who would run up a tab but also tipped generously. He liked helping people and often invited them to go out on his boat, sometimes when he wasn't even there. His reputation for rowdiness occasionally got him in trouble. In 2021, Durnan was arrested at a benefit concert at Webster Hall on the 20th anniversary of 9/11 after allegedly punching and biting a Ground Zero first responder. If anybody knows the name of the band that played at Webster Hall at that concert, let me know. Because only if you know, do you know. I'll watch the chat. Durnan had bitten the man about the face, back, and thumb, causing lacerations, according to the charging documents. Oh, he's like Lenka. Remember Lenka bit a man? Lenka bit one of the Lopolito brothers, or Lopolato brothers, in defense of the Alberts. The arresting officer allegedly found a plastic bag filled with cocaine in Durnan's wallet. Durnan, whose lawyer says he was defending the honor of one of the band members' wives and denies possessing the drug, pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of disorderly conduct. Nolan had not seen Durnan for about a year, but she enjoyed his company and wanted to boost his confidence level in East by East. Monday, August 4th, was set as the day of the meeting, and Nolan agreed to meet Durnan on his boat, a fishing vessel, Hell in a Bucket, named for the Grateful Dead song, at the Montauk Yacht Club. Durnan pushed back the time. 4 p.m. became 7:30 p.m. No, it was not the Grateful Dead. And there's Martha on a private plane. Remember we looked at her Instagram and the first show that we did, and we looked at her. She was in private planes a lot. She was living her best life. They took the boat out for a tour and drank champagne as the sun set. After a couple hours, some of Nolan's friends began to wonder what was going on. Nolan had told her boyfriend, Nick DeRubio, who was out of town, that she planned to take an Uber home by 1 a.m. Wait a second. Didn't we hear that he was her fiance? Now they're just saying it's her boyfriend. When we looked at her the article on her funeral in Ireland, I thought he was her fiance. I don't know. The story's changing a little bit now. But she hadn't been responding to messages in a group chat, and some friends were growing concerned, as seemingly was DeRubio. On their phone's Find My app, Nolan's dot appeared to be floating alone in the ocean. LMAO, I'm sure her phone died, or maybe she's dead, someone wrote in the chat at 9:20 p.m. Seemed like a joke at the time. 10 minutes later, Nolan resurfaced. LOL, I'm at the yacht club now. My phone is on, she wrote. She and Durnan had returned to the dock. Truckers Against Tie Clips is here. He's hauling a Tyson load of pork. All right. Drive safely, please. I hope the weather's okay where you are. What happened next is still under investigation by the Suffolk County Police, Suffolk County, New York, not Suffolk County, Massachusetts. But an hour or so later, Nolan really was dead. By midnight, Durnan had taken off all his clothes and dashed frantically down the dock, throwing sunscreen at a neighboring vessel and calling for help. When police arrived, it was too late. The following week, the New York Post put a striking photo of Nolan on the front page. Montauk Mystery, the headline screamed. Yes, we covered it. Remember, we covered it from that New York Post article. Tabloids and magazines jumped in to cover what at first looked like it might be a murder. I remember this also, that they reported that there was a naked man running around on the dock and he was screaming, "That's my girlfriend, that's my girlfriend." Do you remember that? I do. 3 months later, as facts have slowly emerged and no one has been arrested, Martha Nolan's death looks like a more complicated story. At the center of it is the business she was working so hard to build. In her adopted home of the Hamptons, creating a glamorous brand can be an alluring pathway to the good life for someone who doesn't have the money or who doesn't have money. What doesn't show up on Instagram or TikTok, though, is that this entrepreneurial scene is often gritty and harsh, full of questionable characters and messy choices, and the prize can always seem both tantalizingly close and frustratingly far away. And I'm going to say that it just could have been a horrific accident. There doesn't always have to be a crime involved. There doesn't always have to be something nefarious. There doesn't always have to be. It was the Bogman. Thank you. SW10952. Did you look that up or do you know the Bogman? Okay. Well done, girl. Or guy. I don't know. It just says SW10952. She could have had a heart attack. She could have had some undiagnosed heart condition. Because the original autopsy did say there was no signs of foul play and there was no signs of a struggle. Martha Nolan arrived in New York in 2015. Okay, I'm going to pronounce this right because you guys wrote to me and told me how to pronounce it. Carlow, Ireland. If I'm wrong, spell it phonetically for me in the chat. Carlow. And River's mom says the Bogmen are the best. And I can see why he probably bit somebody because one of the members of the Bogmen, his wife died in 9/11. So, I mean, I could see how that could get real ugly real fast. Carlow. Carlo. Okay, I'm right. Thank you. It's a rural farming community. Her mother taught science at a local school, and her father, who lived separately and saw his daughter only rarely, helped run a family business producing livestock feed. Her first job in the city was at a fintech startup called Street Diligence. In an interview with the Irish Independent years later, she reflected on being taken aback by her New York peers' free-spending, hard-partying ways. I honestly think people in New York drink more than Ireland. That was one of the culture shocks I got, she said. Back home, no one has money to go out. People here drop $150 without a thought. She showed off her new life on Facebook and Instagram. In one shot, she poses poolside on the rooftop at Mr. Purple against a sweeping view of the city skyline, wine glass in hand and Prada bags slung over her shoulder. She lived successively in Astoria, Hudson Yards, and the Upper East Side. Successively. Did I say successfully? Successively. In 2019, she managed to land a competitive job working with clients at Ogilvy. But when the C-19 pandemic hit, her team was furloughed and she was let go because of her visa status. There's another picture of her at what looks like a hockey game. Hold on. No, I think it's a basketball game. At presumably the Garden. That's when she began spending a lot of time with Dylan Grace, a fellow Irish native who lived in her building and worked as a summertime doorman at Montauk hotspots, including Gurney's, Rushmeyer's, and the Surf Lodge. In July 2020, Grace was living in a shared house with Jeremy Valeda, who described himself as a Harvard Business School alum who had worked at Goldman Sachs. Well, was he really a Harvard Business School alum, or is that just the way he described himself? And also, did you ever notice that everyone who ever went to Harvard will tell you that they went to Harvard in the first 5 minutes of meeting them? But usually it's something like, oh, well, I know him from when I was in college in Cambridge. But Harvard always comes out in the first 5 minutes. Tell me I'm wrong. Hold on. Harvard. Valeda suggested to Grace and Nolan that they join him to start a company in the Hamptons, one that would sell sunglasses. This was not the stuff of Silicon Valley venture capital investments. It was the kind of often disorganized and informal affair where raising seed capital just meant asking friends and family to put in a few $1,000s. But it marked an initiation for both Nolan and Grace to the entrepreneurial scene in the Hamptons, the beginning of a road that within 2 years would lead them to start their own fashion brand. Valeda's company, Robin says same thing with Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, or however they want to pronounce it. Oh, Iceman comes and says, the board behind her says Barclays, so it's where the Nets play, just an FYI. Can you read that? Dude, can you read that? Oh, now I can read it. It's in Brooklyn. It's not the Garden. It's in Brooklyn. And let me tell you something else about the Barclays Center. It is not built for concerts or hockey. There are so many obstructive view seats. It's terrible. If you go to a concert there, God forbid you're up high, because going down the steps just to go to the ladies' room or get yourself a beer is like taking your life into your hands. It is so steep and slippery. I can't imagine how many slip and falls they have on the daily at the Barclays Center. I do not recommend. Thank you, Iceman. I couldn't read it. Valida's company was called Out East Eyewear and offered customers cheap replacements for lost or broken sunglasses. He was the founder and CEO. Nolan, a natural at marketing and design, selected many of the frame styles, and Grace worked on getting Out East sunglasses into Montauk boutiques. What neither Nolan nor Grace knew then was that Valida's credentials were not what they appeared to be. Oh. The Harvard degree he referenced often was actually the program for leadership development at Harvard, a part-time course that does not bestow an MBA. Oh, did he do it online? Was it like an online course that he paid $200 for? While Valeda bragged to multiple people about getting his socks dry cleaned at Goldman headquarters, friends said he actually was a consultant in the IT department of a New Jersey satellite office. He didn't work for Goldman. He'd work at Goldman, said a person who worked with him. Valeda, 44, said he didn't actually dry clean his socks. Okay, well, I mean, I guess we can all rest easy on that. He didn't actually dry clean his socks. But listen, I also, if you're going to go into business with somebody, you better do your due diligence, okay? That's just basic business 101. If you're going to go into business with someone, do your due diligence, dig into their background, make sure that you do not hire a man named Shannon with one N Burgess who lies about his degrees and tells you he has degrees that in fact don't even exist. And it takes an Olivia Nile to figure that out. Wow. In 2015, two of Valeta's closest friends sued him for allegedly not returning hundreds of thousands of dollars they had invested in an Ohio real estate venture. Valeta had allegedly offered to set up the company under his own LLC, which meant that he owned the whole thing. A technicality that became a problem when, according to the lawsuit, one of the friends found himself effectively locked out of the business. Following the friend's death, Valeta accused him of breach of the implied covenant of good faith before settling with his widow as well as the other friend. So that guy died too. Because it says settling with his widow. All right. Remember how I said not everything is nefarious? Well, sometimes things are nefarious and it just takes a while to figure it out. But I'm not saying this is, but I mean, how'd that guy die? Now I have questions. Okay. The following year, ahead of the 2016 election, Valeta was indicted for voter fraud in Ohio. He pleaded not guilty. That charge was canned and sealed. It was an honest mistake, he said. In 2021, Nolan and Grace's relationship with Valeta went sour too. Valeta had been paying them $2,500 a month, but they were asking to be treated like co-founders and awarded large ownership stakes. Various attempts to patch up the rift fell through, and Nolan and Grace decided to launch what amounted to a corporate coup. They allegedly locked out Valeta and two other members of the management team from their email accounts and Out East social media platforms, emptied the bank account into what they describe as their lawyer's escrow fund, and deleted all the company's marketing materials. Grace said he and Nolan were acting on the advice of their lawyer as part of a, quote, dispute resolution process. We were under the impression that we were founders, he added. Nolan and Grace had instantly seized control of the sunglasses brand in all the ways that mattered. The company went from being very healthy to being insolvent overnight, said Jeff Aborn, a financier with a hedge fund background, who had just invested $100,000 in Out East at the time and was brought in to help run it. I mean, dude, what do you do? Why would you invest $100,000 in a company? Did they have any sales? Maybe I'm watching too much Shark Tank, but like, what were their sales? How much did it cost to make the product and how much were they selling it for? What were their margins? Out East cut ties with Nolan and Grace, and in April of 2022, the company sued them for allegedly stealing the money along with Out East's entire sunglasses inventory. But others who'd done business with Valeta sympathize with Nolan and Grace. You don't want to be in business with Jeremy. In some ways, you're going to get screwed, said one. Valeta disagrees with the characterization. Well, yeah, wouldn't you? I could see somebody trying to make that right by doing maybe crazy things to try and remedy it. Okay. On paper, the experience at Out East might have looked like a disaster for Nolan. It was messy and ethically questionable, and everyone seems to have walked away no richer and likely poorer than they were before. But Nolan learned some important lessons. First, she and Grace had a blueprint for their own startup. Second, she now knew that the only way to succeed was to be in charge of her own fate, no more depending on the likes of Valeta to bestow a co-founder title or some equity points. Oh, no more depending on the likes of Valeta to bestow a co-founder title or some equity points. But more than anything, she understood that the route to success in Montauk involved controlling her own brand. A brand in the Hamptons, many of which are launched by Manhattanites with banker resumes, can be a ticket in. Product giveaways and party sponsorships are a kind of currency that lets you skip the line at places like the Surf Lodge and grants entree to the actually influential and powerful people. Nolan seemed to understand a central axiom about the Hamptons: getting in is more important than how you got there. Or getting in is more important than how you get there. Once you've been accepted, people often don't know or even care how wealthy you actually are. if you're drinking a cocktail at Gurney's or Rushmeyer's or eating the $100 lobster cob at Durier's, whether you might be falling behind on your rent in Manhattan is beside the point. What matters is you are there. Many Hamptons brands are money losers. Nolan seemed to believe that she could make one that was buzzy and actually profitable. I'm almost grateful for what happened with Jeremy and Out East because it taught me so much about business, said Grace. It was a massive, massive learning experience that has set me up for entrepreneurship, and Martha would say the same. In the summer of 2022, the case with Out East was settled on confidential terms, and Nolan and Grace were getting ready to launch their own Hampton startup. We had been building East by East during this dispute period on the DL, said Grace. We thought, let's not directly copy Out East. Martha really wanted to do bikinis. They came up with a tagline for what would be a resort wear brand, built in the city by Made for the Sun. On her TikTok, Nolan seemed to be living the resort life she wanted her brand to embody, posting videos of herself riding in a private jet with Grace and pulling up in a Bentley convertible with him at the Breakers in Palm Beach. It's probably a rental. She loves luxury items. She liked boats and like private planes. She always loved the nice hotels, said Grace. She kind of liked the lifestyle, and I think it motivated her to keep grinding. She was manifesting a beautiful and luxurious life. The pair also figured out how to spend their summers in Montauk when, on paper, they could never afford it. One of Grace's friends owned a home and allowed Grace to run it as a share house, renting out rooms and often using it themselves. She would have been able to stay out there for a few years for next to nothing. And same with me, said Grace. It was such a hustle. All right. Who out there has ever been part of a share house in the Hamptons? And if you don't know what a share house in the Hamptons is, I'll tell you. But if you ever have, let me know, because it can be a nightmare from what I hear. Carla's like, oh no, Aunt BB is saying hi to Carla. Both endured some financial and job insecurity. Grace, who had moved to New York in 2019 with $1,200 to his name, was forced to plead severe financial hardship brought on by my loss of employment due to C-19 to his landlord in the city. When Nolan lost her job at Ogilvy, it had imperiled her H-1B visa. In September 2020, with the visa issues pressing, she had married Sam Ryan, an Irishman she'd been dating for years, in an online ceremony with an officiant from Utah, which had recently begun offering legally binding online weddings. It was a temporary fix. Ryan, who didn't even have a green card, could only add Nolan to his own visa. That was one of the things when we first started looking into this. That was the only thing I could find in the court files was that this guy, Sam Ryan, had filed for divorce, I think, right before her death. As they built East by East, they did everything they could to make money on the side. We put money into crypto when it was a thing, said Grace. They briefly launched and ran an Amazon store called Duper, selling $20 replicas of trending sunglass styles from brands like Prada. At its peak, it did about $30,000 a month in sales. Launching a Hamptons branded e-commerce company seemed particularly appealing at the time. During the pandemic and after, e-commerce brands. Carla said she came to Melanie's house for some sanity. During the pandemic and after, e-commerce brands on Instagram were blowing up. Montauk, which saw an influx of mostly wealthy newcomers fleeing COVID-era New York City, was blowing up too. Now you look at it and you see Montauk everything, said Simon Cascante, an East Hampton native who launched his own tequila company, a local tequila company called Montauk Tequila in 2019. A large percentage of these brands are from people that aren't even from Montauk, right? Oh, I vacationed in Montauk. Montauk is special to me. One such company, Montauk Style, which sells bedding, furniture, and loungewear, is based in Australia. Johnny Hampton, another sunglasses company that touted its Hampton style, was founded by a Texan with a background in finance. When Nolan and Grace officially launched East by East in August 2022, they priced their sunglasses much lower than Out East's. That meant her company would presumably make a much smaller profit on each sale, given their manufacturing costs were almost identical. But the size of her profit margin didn't always appear to be Nolan's top priority. They seemed to be happy with just being in Montauk all the time. She was always on the ground there, and she seemed kind of content to just have the Montauk market for herself. Aborn said. Nolan was a regular at the local clubs and appeared to know everyone who mattered in Montauk. She loved to just like be in the social scene, and she really just immersed herself in it completely. Aborn said, but Aborn wondered whether the small market was enough to sustain even a niche brand. Shortly after East by East launched, NOLAN scored something of a holy grail for local retailers, a place on the shelf at Surf Lodge. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Anybody from Long Island, you know, the Surf Lodge, that's huge. A place on the shelf at the Surf Lodge, the bar and music venue that has become perhaps the most exclusive spot in town. The Surf Lodge's on-site merch shop sells mostly its own $200 logo sweatshirts, but also a few other high-end brands. People come in and buy, 10 sweatshirts for the table, and it's like $3,000, said a person who worked at the Surf Lodge. Companies frequently inquired about getting their products stocked at the store, but were nearly always turned away. A lot of brands literally came in to just be at the Surf Lodge or just show their stuff was at the Surf Lodge. The person said, East by East Swimwear managed to make the cut. Martha wanted every influencer wearing our swimsuits, said Grace. It was around this time that Durnan, the insurance executive, came into the picture. Grace knew Durnan through mutual connections in Ireland and introduced him to Nolan. At one point, Durnan asked whether they were looking for investors. They formally pitched him over lunch at the Montauk Yacht Club at the end of the summer in 2022, and Durnan wired them the money in November. He really liked Martha, and he wanted to help her succeed. She was a good friend, said Robert Holdman, Durnan's lawyer. He was hopeful, and he liked her energy, and he liked the way she presented it to him. A person close to Nolan's family, however, said there is no signed documentation of the investment. As Nolan focused on building her company, her marriage with Ryan fell apart. She was spending more and more time in the Hamptons, leaving him behind in the city. She was kind of like getting into the scene, looking at it as a way to network for investment or grow the company, mixing with Hamptons people and New York City people, and he didn't love that, said Grace. Ryan and his lawyer didn't respond to requests for comment. She also didn't need him anymore. In 2023, she was granted an O-1 visa, a special work permit for people of extraordinary ability. In business, Nolan was a straight shooter, notoriously blunt, unhesitating in saying when she hated something, and so terse during negotiations that Grace sometimes found himself trying to smooth things over afterward. She didn't sugarcoat anything, Grace said. When it came to her personal life, Nolan was very private, unlikely to confide details of her relationships, even to her close friends and family. Right. I have a feeling her family didn't know a lot that was going on in her life, and that's not uncommon. She was in her 20s. She had her own business. Her family lived in Ireland. Not everybody tells their family everything, right? She liked talking about the future and the successes she was sure lay ahead. We were always having conversations about dreams and aspirations and where we were going to live in 5-10 years when she's going to have her own Hamptons house, said Grace. She was excited to start a family and have a successful business, to own multiple houses. And she'd said in an interview with The Currency in May of 2021, when you start to say your goals out loud, you start to believe them, and people believe that this is what you want to do. Yeah, it's like manifesting, right? Let me just go to the chat for a second here. Oops. Oh, Karen, you watched episode 1 and 2 of season 2 of Landman. I didn't watch season 2 yet. I didn't watch episode 2 yet. I love it. I love it. Highly recommend if you guys haven't seen it. Thank you, Cat Randall. Cat Randall sends me pictures of sunsets via email, and I love it. And he says the best I can do is send cool things. Thank you. They're so cool. I love them. I love every picture you send me. I love it. Mitzi says, float this one out there for other chat opinions. Jen's 6 a.m. calls were not answered by her sister. The calls were answered by Brian. A lot of people have speculated that. Thanks, Mitzi, for your 5. And Artie Cat says, extremely thankful for 12 blessings, 19 grand blessings, and 3 great grand blessings. My dog, cats, birds, and homestead. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Arctic Cat, for your 5. Sue says, Bruins v. Rangers tomorrow at 1. Let's go Rangers. Hey, Suze. Melisa says, happy Thanksgiving. You're the best. No, you're the best. You've been with me for 21 years. 21 years, 21 months. You guys are the best. Side Quest 101 says, thanks for all you do, Melanie. Happy Thanksgiving cupcakes. Thank you for 10 Side Quest. And back we go to the update on Martha Nolan. And then I want to hear what you guys think about Martha Nolan, what you guys think happened, because there's not a lot of answers yet. With Durnan's money, Nolan opened an East by East pop-up shop at Montauk Beach House in the summer of 2023 and handed out custom tote bags. On July 3rd, the company threw what Nolan called East by East's annual pool party at the exclusive hotel, complete with branded beach balls and DJs, Oli Benz and Bo Cruz. I am not young enough to, I guess, know who these DJs are, but if you know who they are, let me know. It was the sort of partnership that typically costs as much as $50,000, according to other Hamptons entrepreneurs. Gray said they negotiated an agreement to pay significantly less than other brands would have to rent the space, but didn't remember the exact sum. Okay. The pay-to-play arrangements often fail as a strategy, other entrepreneurs say. If you look at Montauk during Memorial Day to Labor Day, how many brands actually market in Montauk and how much money is spent in Montauk, and then they don't come back the next year. They spend all this money and they don't get the return on the investment. Yes, or the ROI, as they say in the biz, said Cascante, who now runs a brand consultancy on the side. So you see a lot of brands that are flash in the pan. Grace said East by East's Montauk Beach House shop made more money than they spent on it, but when summer ended, Nolan had to confront the cold weather sales cliff. In late September, she posted a video of herself closing up the Montauk Beach House shop full of bare hangers, the empty pool reflecting off the locked doors. To make matters worse, a major East by East photo shoot in Mallorca was hit with delays resulting from canceled flights and lost luggage, requiring Nolan to pay the models for extra days. By the fall of 2023, the Duper replica store on Amazon was failing, as were many algorithm-dependent e-commerce brands at the time. We went from making a lot of money to making nothing in the blink of an eye, Grace said. Nolan kept up appearances on social media. She posted videos from Europe and Miami, captioning them hashtag digital nomad. East by East had racked up 54,000 Instagram followers, but its posts suffered from low engagement, often getting a few or no comments, a sign, e-commerce experts told me, that the followers were likely bought. Yeah, I could have told you that too. An analysis by Modash, an Instagram auditing tool, concluded East by East's followers were 63% fake. Grace said Nolan had bought followers for Out East, but that he'd be very surprised if she'd done the same for East by East because she'd previously regretted the decision. Martha was like, F it. Martha was like, F, I wish I didn't do that because it was affecting the growth of that Instagram page. Nolan took on a lot of the grunt work herself. Martha was such a grinder. She always got things done for the scrappiest amount. She loved a deal and getting things for cheap, said Grace. East by East's website was created from a template built by someone on Upwork for $20 an hour. Its PR strategy was even cheaper. She said, why don't we have the PR firms pitch us and then take all the info and we do that ourselves? Why don't we have the PR firms? Recalls Grace. In early 2024, she was picking up extra work where she could. She started a brand consulting sidelight and took on Kathleen Fee, a country music singer with an Irish band, as a client. Anybody heard of Kathleen Fee? Then one of her hustles landed her in court. In April 2024, the landlord of an apartment she had leased on East 25th Street sued Nolan for allegedly renting it out on Airbnb under the name Maddie from Miami, Florida. Nolan initially denied the allegations, noting that it was not her name. The landlord submitted screenshots of her Airbnb host profile to the court, along with a copy of Nolan's passport, claiming the pictures of Maddie and Martha depict a similar person. The case was eventually withdrawn. Well, that's interesting. It was withdrawn. There's a lot of fake listings on Airbnb. How do I know? Because I rented one once. I rented a fake listing on Airbnb in West Hollywood. And like right before I was about to check in, they sent me like a message saying, oh, sorry, your unit's not available, but we have this other unit for you. And it's a total scam that they do. I called Airbnb right away, got my money back right away, reported them for having fake stuff because I knew the pictures were just too good to be true. and it happens. So when you do use Airbnb, make sure they have a lot of reviews and you can like vet the person. It happened to me, and I found another place like right away. It was crazy. Hold on. Melissa says Airbnb is illegal in West Hollywood. There you go. There you go. I forget where I wound up. You're right, because I probably went and got a place in the South Bay instead. I was like, forget it. I don't even want to go to West Hollywood. It was like, it was crazy. It had like a view that didn't even exist. I mean, it was nuts. And that's what the case was eventually withdrawn. People can take pictures of anything and pretend to rent it out. It's fake and fake, right, Mitchell? Grace, meanwhile, had just opened Chelsea Living Room, a Manhattan restaurant and lounge that sells a $49 mozzarella stick sprinkled with caviar. Oh, really? Chelsea Living Room? Anybody been there? Iced Coffee Addict says, I live in California. I know of Airbnbs in WeHo. Yeah, it used to be illegal in the South Bay too, but now I think if you get a permit, they let you do it. I'm not really sure. They keep changing the rules on short-term rentals there. Some of them you have to rent 30 days or more. It's a whole thing. But construction delays had postponed the opening several months, resulting in nearly $1 million in losses for Grace and his partners. Oh, that hurts. Ouch. Okay, first of all, who wants a $49 mozzarella stick sprinkled with caviar? Not me. I don't even know if Bethany Frankel would eat that. And she loves caviar. Like that just sounds disgusting to me. Maybe it wasn't a great idea. Still, NOLAN, by all outward appearances, was living her dream life. By 2024, her East by East bikinis were being sold in a couple of shops in St. Bart's, and she was set to open a second pop-up shop at Gurney's, the Montauk resort known for its beach parties. Yeah. And we looked at Gurney's website last time we were here. I told you they've had a complete redo at Gurney's, and the cheapest room in the off season is something like $1,200. Gurney's was also hosting a summer pop-ups for blue chip brands like Dolce & Gabbana and Love Shack Fancy, and East by East placement on the beach among the resort's $2,000 a day cabanas seemed like a feat. Yeah, the cabanas are $2,000 a day. They're nothing special. And Olivia says, Chelsea Living Room is right near where my apartment was in New York City. That's so crazy. Did you ever go there? Did you meet this guy, Mr. Grace? Forget his first name already. It's Dolce & Gabbana and East by East. That's crazy, said Brianna McEnroe, VP of Brand and Innovation for Discover Long Island, which promotes tourism in the region. I wonder if she's the daughter of John McEnroe. I mean, the McEnroes are big on Long Island. Johnny Mac and Tatum O'Neal, when they were married, they lived right in Oyster Bay Cove on Tennis Court Lane. Coincidentally, they were married at a church in Oyster Bay. It could be. At one point, the actress Emma Roberts stopped by Gurney's and bought a bikini. She walks over and Martha's there and almost passes out when she sees that it's Emma Roberts, said Grace. Aaron Nesmith, an NBA starter for the Indiana Pacers, was photographed in East by East along with a ton of influencers, Grace added. East by East had achieved a level of brand recognition, at least among a certain set of locals. It's a flex when you wear it, said McEnroe. Whenever you're just in Montauk and the Hamptons, it's like, if you know, you know. The less flashy reality was that NOLAN and Grace had convinced Gurney's to let them build and install the shed on the beach themselves at a cost of $30,000. Wow. It was just a combo of different deals that we made, said Grace, and they didn't secure a spot at the Surf Lodge that year. She tried to sell her product, but unfortunately we were fully committed, said Jayma Cardoso, the Surf Lodge's founder and creative director. SW says it sounds like a Ponzi scheme. Oh, sweetie, no, says, now I want caviar. Oops. And Charissa gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Charissa. Welcome to the 5 new members. NOLAN and Grace felt like they were always on the edge of failing. I almost said falling. Almost on the edge of fall. All right, back to 1. Nolan and Grace felt like they were always on the edge of failing. I was like, oh my God, we're not making enough money to keep doing this, to keep not paying ourselves, said Grace. This isn't paying our bills. But Nolan didn't want to stop. In fashion, she told him the most important thing was longevity. If you can just stay around long enough, people know your brand, she said. We've just got to keep going. We've got to keep pushing. By then, Nolan had a new boyfriend. She'd met Nick DeRubio, a Connecticut native who'd worked in sales for various software companies, on the rooftop of a Brooklyn hotel earlier in 2024. DeRubio declined to speak for this story. On Halloween, Nolan posted a TikTok video flying with DeRubio in a helicopter over the Hamptons, glass of bubbly next to her. I remember we looked at that. We looked at that TikTok the first time we covered the story. It might not even be up anymore. Go back to that first show if you want to check it out. To Nolan, 2025 was supposed to be the year when her goals would start to become reality. In March, after years of separation, her husband, Sam Ryan, filed for an uncontested divorce, and Nolan rented a Montauk cottage with DeRubio for the summer. She'd also resolved to get East by East into the Miami market for the upcoming winter. She didn't want to just be a seasonal Hamptons brand anymore, she had told Grace. It's definitely an example of pursuing the American dream, said Grace. The saddest part is we've gotten through the hardest part of it, figuring out the visas, becoming financially stable, and then it ended for her. Well, it seems like her partner is the guy who spoke the most to this New Yorker or New York Magazine reporter. And here we get to the night of. The night of August 4th was warm and humid at the eastern end of Long Island. Nolan arrived at 7:30 p.m. at the Montauk Yacht Club, a resort on Star Island with a private beach on Lake Montauk, which opens into the ocean. After cruising around on Hell in a Bucket, the pair had switched to Durnan's other boat, Ripple, also a Grateful Dead song, moored in Slip 311 at the marina adjacent to the hotel by 9:30 p.m. Monday evenings at the marina are typically quiet. The yacht club's restaurants and pools are closed, and the dock is fairly secluded, especially when it gets late enough that most of the neighboring boat crews have gone to bed. All right, but it's also probably completely full in August in Montauk. It's probably not a slip to be had. It's not desolate, let's put it that way. Ripple was a relatively modest yacht by local standards, a 54-foot Sea Ray that could sleep 6 passengers in its tight quarters below deck, with a small cabin that included a kitchenette. For the next hour or so, Nolan and Durnan sat on the deck of Ripple in the dark, in shouting distance of the hotel's pool, discussing business, according to Holdman, the lawyer representing Durnan. And here's Ripple. And it looks like Suffolk County PD on there, but that might not even. Is that a 54 Sea Ray? It's hard to tell. Or is this Ripple? I don't know. It's hard to tell. The East Hampton and Suffolk County Police, which declined to release their reports from the Montauk Yacht Club on that date, are looking into the events that followed. Media reports suggest that around midnight, an unclothed Durnan raised the alarm in the quiet marina. We heard someone shouting, stuff bouncing off the side of the boat. He threw sunscreen at our boat, trying to wake us up, an eyewitness told the New York Post. He was running up and down, naked, screaming, do something. Well, thank you, oh sweetie, no, for gifting 5 memberships. You're awesome. According to Holdman, Durnan told the police that around 10:30 or 11 p.m., Nolan suddenly went limp, and he thought she was having a heart attack. All right, finally getting somewhere. He tried to perform CPR. She was gone almost immediately. She was non-responsive, Holdman said. The investor never called 911. Police got the call from a bystander. That was received around midnight, according to a Suffolk County PD spokesperson. Okay, hold on a second. So Durnan's lawyer, and he's not considered a suspect at all. This is Durnan. He hasn't been considered a suspect at all. But according to his lawyer, he told the police that around 10:30 or 11, she suddenly went limp. He thought she was having a heart attack. He tries to perform CPR. She was non-responsive immediately, and they didn't get a 911 call until around midnight by a bystander. Durnan's nudity is a detail that many of Nolan's friends have fixated on in the wake of her death. I think for me, it's like, why is the man naked, right? Said a person who knew Nolan. That's the part where it's like, did something happen to this girl? Durnan had to strip his clothes off, Holdman said, because they were soaked with Nolan's vomit. Chris is distraught, the lawyer said, adding that Durnan has cooperated with the police. He watched his friend die in trauma. He's absolutely destroyed. The only potential clue Durnan could think to give detectives, according to the lawyer, were the 2 occasions Nolan had excused herself to go to the head that night. It could be an indication of someone going to the bathroom. It could be an indication of someone doing drugs, or it could be both, Holdman said. The timeline that Durnan laid out via Holdman seemingly leaves a gap of at least an hour between when Nolan lost consciousness and when police say they were called. Holdman, when asked about this, denied it. It all happened immediately. She passed away and everything went down from there. He went running to go look for help. He tried CPR. Like, it all happened one right after another. There was no pause, he said. Durnan, he added, doesn't remember how long he did CPR. Shortly after Nolan's death, Durnan revealed more about his and Nolan's relationship, at least to his lawyer. They actually dated, Holdman said. He had told me after it happened that he loved her and that he had met her family, even visiting her hometown in Ireland. They did care for each other, but it wasn't a super commitment. Maybe that would explain why he was running around, and some witnesses said, that's my girlfriend, you got to help my girlfriend. When asked to clarify when exactly Durnan had dated Nolan, Holdman later walked back some of his comments, saying he'd assumed Durnan had dated Nolan, but that the investor seemed to see things differently. He goes, we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, Holdman said. And he goes, yeah, I loved her as a friend. We didn't have like a hard relationship. I asked Holdman whether Durnan ever denied having a romantic, physical, or sexual relationship with Nolan. Quote, Chris is not interested in sharing anything like that, whether it's an absolute no or an absolute yes. I don't think he thinks it's fair to her memory, Holdman said. He just didn't want to talk about it. Nolan never mentioned anything about a relationship with the investor to her family or even to her business partner, Grace. A source close to Nolan's family said none of them had ever met Durnan. That's a complete lie, the person said. A couple days after Nolan's death, one of the family members texted Durnan, asking him to give them a call. Durnan never responded. Holdman said he advised Durnan not to speak to anyone while the investigation was ongoing, which, quite frankly, pains him to not be able to do that. He said that while he believed Durnan had met members of Nolan's family, it was possible there were other people in her town. Meanwhile, Durnan is facing accusations of negligence in a separate case involving another man's death. In March, the man's wife claimed that in 2023, Durnan's Jeep, while being driven by his adult daughter, hit her husband's vehicle, severely injuring him and allegedly causing his death. The case is ongoing, and the Durnans have denied being at fault. Durnan's lawyer, Robert Holdman, said the man died months later in a surgery unrelated to the accident. Nolan's death became tabloid news from Montauk to Dublin. I don't know what happened to my daughter, Nolan's mother, Elma, told the Irish Independent shortly after. We weren't told anything about the circumstances. Although the police have opened a homicide investigation, an initial autopsy did not show evidence of violence. Neither did a second autopsy that Nolan's family commissioned independently after continuing to wonder whether foul play had been involved. A medical examiner concluded she'd been physically healthy, according to a person close to the family. The Suffolk County authorities are now working on a final autopsy complete with a toxicology report, which could confirm whether a drug overdose played a role in Nolan's death, though the process can take several months. Photos taken of Durnan's boat in the days after Nolan's death showed a white substance strewn on the seat cushions near where her body was found, but Durnan's lawyer said it was dust left from the police fingerprinting the scene. Those close to Nolan are still trying to make sense of her death. At her funeral, attendees placed symbols of her life next to her coffin, including her passport, representing her love for travel and adventure, her makeup bag and brushes for her love of fashion and beauty, and an item from East by East, a symbol of her legacy. So sad. That's a picture of her funeral in Ireland. Martha had a way of putting people she loved first, an emotional DeRubio said at the funeral, whether it was telling you to cop on and focus on the good in this life or just being a shoulder to lean on. Grace describes the tabloid frenzy around her death, including coverage of the funeral, as an unexpected source of comfort. She loved press and loved media. I just knew that she'd be so happy. That's how she went out. While the investigation continues, the local entrepreneurial scene grinds on. Out East, having clawed its way back to viability, is raising funding for the first time since its lawsuit against NOLAN and Grace and trying to expand nationally. Montauk this summer launched its first canned cocktail. As the Surf Lodge wound down for the season after Nolan's death, it put out some of its past season merchandise for sale, including the last of its East by East bikinis. It's kind of a weird ending to the article. And that was an article from the New Yorker, which is behind a paywall for many of you. I'm sorry, New York Magazine by Jen Weisner, and that was published on November 7th. That's how long I've been holding this to read it to you guys, since November 7th. Thoughts? There may be nothing nefarious about the death of Martha Nolan. So thank you, Ginger Cat Pilates, for your super chat, asking for that update on Martha Nolan. Cat Randall knew it was Biz Marquis, just a friend. The Blues Brothers crew, thank you for your deuce. Charissa, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. You don't have to apologize for your tardiness. You can come anytime you want. And you gifted 5 memberships because you're awesome. And Jen Fox became a member. Welcome. And then, oh, sweetie, no gifted 5 memberships. And you're awesome. I do think so. I think that Durnan's wife did take her life. Not that that has anything to do with that, but but that has been published in other places. So I'm not telling any family secrets or anything. Thank you very much. I got to know it. And then Charissa gifted another 5 memberships. Thank you so much. I don't know. It's a very sad story, but it may be just that, a tragic ending to a very young and very beautiful life. Thank you, Lori, for your Venmo. So special thanks for a Turkey Days stream. You're awesome. Thank you, Stella, for your Venmo. Says happy Thanksgiving. Can't wait to watch the Brian Walsh trial with you. Me too. I can't wait to watch it either. I'm excited. We haven't done a gavel to gavel trial in a while, right? It's been a while. Thank you, Penny, for your Venmo. Says happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for being our stable YouTuber. Love your shows. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Penny. And thanks, Betsy. Says happy Thanksgiving. Betsy's always a very generous contributor. Thank you, Betsy. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. What else is on your mind, folks? Charlie Lynn says, didn't he get travel insurance on her? I don't know anything about that. I did not hear anything about that. Thank you, Ginger Cat Pilates, for your 5. Appreciate you. I don't know. Did you read that somewhere? Because I didn't see that. Is it true that Karen Reed is going to be in federal court? It is true that the House defendants have asked to remove it to federal court. Whether or not it's going to stay there is going to be up to a federal judge. So let me see. I think I have the notice of removal here. We haven't covered it yet because I'm still waiting for the papers regarding the phone search. They want to search Karen's phones, but it's under a search warrant number. I can't find it anywhere in the docket. And I don't think that that case number exists, and they're just hiding it from us, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Nobody seems to be able to get a hold of those papers except for Ted Daniel. Yeah, I'm not talking about anybody else's drama because I'm just not interested, and I just don't have any information on it because I just don't follow anybody else's drama. Where's the notice of removal? I have it somewhere. Hold on. Hold on. No, I can't find it right away. But they filed all the House defendants through one lawyer filed. Karen says I sent you an email yesterday with it. Yeah, but what name is your email under? I get 7,000 a day. So unless I know what your email is. They filed a notice of removal to federal court saying that they want it moved there, but all the defendants have to consent, and also there has to be federal jurisdiction and a federal judge has to agree. And so the answer is it's not 100% yet. Yes, it's the search warrant number, Olivia, that it's filed under. But when you look in mass courts for that search warrant number, it just doesn't exist. That case number does not exist. And I found out also there's a number missing because it's not enough numbers. And so, because they're supposed to be like after the CR, there's usually 5 numbers, and on the papers, it only has 4 numbers. It's like 0004. Let me see if here it is. I'll show you, because in case anybody wants to fall into the rabbit hole, you can try and find it, but many have tried. Nobody can find it. Here's what it looks like. And this is what I'm looking for and what I need. It is Ms. Reed's memorandum in opposition to Commonwealth's motion for examination of digital material seized from Karen Reed pursuant to the search warrant issued on January 22nd, 2024. Here's what's weird. The caption is Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus Aiden Timothy Carney, Norfolk Superior Court. And here's the case number. Okay, it's under 2482 SW, which is the search warrant number 0004. Try it. Get into mass courts. It doesn't exist. And it's usually case numbers, and Suze, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's 4 numbers, and then usually CR for criminal or CV for civil. And then there's 5 numbers at the end, not 4. But I mean, this is the caption. I tried adding another 0, still didn't work. I didn't try adding another 0 on the end though. Hold on a second. Let's try that. You know what? Maybe we'll find it. Hold please. Because I want to have these papers so that we can look at them. Remember, Cosgrove made a motion to review Karen Reed's, or to search Karen Reed's phones that he's had since January of 2024. Apparently they've never searched the phones. Now they're claiming that they need Karen Reed's passwords. She probably doesn't know them. Let me try and put a 0 at the end. Nope, this doesn't exist. If anybody can find it, you're going to be like, it's like you should buy a lottery ticket too, because it's like, it doesn't exist. Cosgrove filed a motion to search her phones, and then her attorney opposed it here. And this is the memorandum in opposition to the Commonwealth's motion for examination of Karen Reed's phones. The only thing anybody's been able to get a hold of is the first page, this cover page. I want the whole thing. I can't find it. And then apparently Cosgrove put in a reply, I think, right? Isn't that what Ted Daniels said in his piece? Betterow won't have it because it was Karen Reed's attorney that was involved in it. They didn't take any position on Karen Reed's phones, but it's because it's not even indexed in Aiden Carney's case, right? It's so weird. I don't know. Where did you find it? 44. I have no idea how many pages it is, Iced Coffee Addict, but if you found it, my email is below, fanbase@mlittlelaw.com. I can't read it right now, but I will read it, and we can do it like tomorrow. Did you find it in mass courts? Because if you did, like, you're a genius. Oh, that's the original search warrant from 2024. Yeah, no, we need the actual papers that have to do with them wanting to search the phone. And I think Steve Buzang was the attorney that was initially involved in it. I mean, I have the original search warrant, and I think that's what you're talking about, says Olivia. But what I need is the actual opposition papers. Okay, Tiffany, no, Tiffany sent me, you sent me the notice of filing of removal of the action to federal court. I have that. Thank you. And I'll just read civil. I'll re-download it, but that one's 66 pages. But I think a lot of it is exhibits, right? Yeah, a lot of it is exhibits, which is the complaint. All right, so let's just take a quick look. Thanks, Tiff. No, thank you for the phone search warrant, but I have that. We went over that one. Thank you very much for that. That's that tainty motion. We have Cosgrove's motion. What we don't have is the opposition papers from Karen Reed's attorneys. Follow me? And we've been over that. We did a whole show on that one. That was filed all the way back in August. And then there's other papers that were filed, I guess, somewhere under that case number. That's not it. So thanks, Frank, for sending me that. But that I have. Let's take a look. Got to close all these windows. Hold on. At the notice of removal to federal court, which you've probably already heard. Everyone you know go over this already, but we'll do it again. Here it is. Federal court has no cameras, tight deadlines, and the judges don't take any abada. Thank you, good citizen. But that's the one, August 28th of 2025. That was Cosgrove's motion. That's not the one we're looking for. We're looking for the opposition by either Buzang or, I know everyone's sending me. That's like, you guys are sending me the Commonwealth's motion. I have that already. We need the opposition. Know what I'm saying? So that's not the right thing. All right, let's look at the notice of removal to federal court. And here it is. In the Bristol County action, Karen Reed versus Proctor, Buchanan, Tully, Brian and Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins. And this is a notice of filing, notice of removal of action to federal court. Please take notice that Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins have, on this date, filed a notice of removal in the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts, pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1446. Copy of this notice of removal and all accompanying documents is attached here too as Exhibit A. And this was filed in Bristol Superior Court by Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins. One attorney named James Tuxbury at Hinckley Allen on November 25th of 2025. And he says he served it on 3 attorneys at Sheehan Finney. And he's attaching a federal court. No, this is the civil cover sheet from Bristol and the entire, Karen Reed's entire complaint. And here's their actual notice of removal in the federal court. Federal court is called district court. So it's the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts. This is what they filed in the federal court. This is the civil cover sheet. Karen Reed versus Proctor, Buchanan, Tully, Alberts, McCabe's, and Higgins. Reads as follows. Notice of removal. Defendants Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins collectively removing defendants. I guess they didn't like being called house defendants. Removing defendants hereby remove case number, and it gives the Bristol case number, entitled Karen Reed Plaintiff versus Michael Proctor et al. Defendants from Bristol County Superior Court to the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts, pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1331 and 1441. And his grounds for their removal state as follows. Footnote 1, which reads, in filing this notice of removal, removing defendants Preserve all defenses and objections, including those pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12B. When a defendant removes an action from a state court in which he has been sued, he consents to nothing and waives nothing. He is exercising a privilege unconditionally conferred by statute, and since the district court to which he must remove it is fixed by law, he has no choice, without which there can be no waiver. Statement of the case. I just want to see how long this is. Okay, it's not too long, but I do need to take a drink because I'm very parched. So hang on a second. You guys want me to read this, right? I'm trying to get an out here. Hold on. I do read my chat, but I can't read my chat while I'm reading papers. So I'm not sure what the question was, Ellen, but thank you for trying to help. Okay. Statement of the case. On or about November 17th of 2025, Plaintiff Karen Reed filed the above captioned action in the Superior Court, the state court action. The complaint purports to assert 7 causes of action: malicious prosecution under the Fourth Amendment, supervisor liability, conspiracy to deprive Ms. Reed of her Fourth Amendment rights, Massachusetts Civil Rights Act, common law malicious prosecution, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and civil conspiracy, with counts 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 being asserted against the removing defendants. A true and correct copy of the complaint, civil action cover sheet, civil tracking order, acceptance of service on defendant Brian Tully. So they did serve Tully eventually. And acceptance of service on defendants Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matt McCabe, and Brian Higgins are attached here too. Exhibit A footnote 2, which says no proceedings have occurred or been scheduled in the state court action. Accordingly, Exhibit A constitutes all process pleadings and orders that have been served on removing defendants or retrieved from the Superior Court's docket prior to the filing of this notice. And Melissa says, hit the like button if you are stuffed. Hit the like button anyway. How about that? Even if you're not. Even if you controlled yourself and didn't eat to the point of being so stuffed. By way of background, the Superior Court action arises from plaintiff's ongoing and malicious attempt. Oh boy, here we go. Plaintiff's ongoing and malicious attempt to evade responsibility for the death of John O'Keefe by smearing and defaming witnesses who participated in the prosecution of her. Oh, really? Do I need to get this? Okay, John O'Keefe was not hit by a car, and a car did not hit John O'Keefe because medicine, science, the medical examiner, ARCA, etc. Something else happened to John O'Keefe, but he was not hit by Karen Reed's car. Okay, do I really have to say it a little bit louder for everyone in the back? The case is a vengeful abuse of the judicial process, and removing defendants will make arguments in that regard at the appropriate time. Well, let me tell you what. The removing defendants better all get separate attorneys. Otherwise, one of them could argue, listen, I didn't want this attorney to make this motion on my behalf. I was perfectly happy in state court. Removal. Counsel for removing defendants accepted service of process on removing defendants' behalf on November 25th of 2025. Wow. And today's what did I say today was again? 27th, only 2 days ago. We're not too far behind on this. Therefore, removing defendants are timely filing this notice of removal within the 30-day time period from the date of service set forth in 28 USC 1446B. Yes, you must file if you want to remove to federal court. You must file within 30 days of being served. Footnote 3 says, removing defendants have not yet filed an answer or otherwise responded to the complaint, but will file such an answer and or response absent an extension within 21 days of service in accordance with Federal Rule Civil Procedure 81C2, right? So within 21 days, You have to file an answer to the complaint. As noted, removing defendants accepted service of process on November 25th of 2025. So that's the date that it starts to run the 21-day period. Usually when lawyers are playing nice together, the defendant's attorney will ask for an extension to answer, and it's typically granted without question. It's just courtesies that attorneys grant each other. Four, all named defendants who have been served consent to and join in this removal in accordance with 28 U.S.C. So that's another requirement that all the defendants have to agree. They all have to consent to going to federal court. And they're saying all the defendants who have been served consent to and join in this removal in accordance with 28 U.S.C. 1446b2a. Defendant Brian Tully's acceptance of service was docketed in the Superior Court on November 24th, 2025, and counsel for Defendant Tully has confirmed that he assents to this removal. While no acceptance of service has yet been filed with respect to Defendant Sergeant Uri Buchanan, Sergeant Buchanan's counsel has informed undersigned counsel that he consents to removal. Upon information and belief, Defendant Michael Proctor has not yet been served, but his counsel has advised undersigned counsel that Defendant Proctor consents to removal as well. Okay, but what we learned is that he's lawyerless right now. So I don't know what attorney he spoke to, but he's not naming him or her. A civil action removed pursuant to Section 1441A requires the consent of all defendants who have been served, citing federal law. Venue is proper in this court pursuant to federal statutes because the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts is the federal district in which the Superior Court is located and where the state court action was originally filed. As required by federal statute, removing defendants will promptly serve written notice of the filing of this notice of removal and the removal of the state court action on counsel for plaintiff as evidenced by the attached certificate of service and will promptly file the same with the clerk of the Superior Court. Pursuant to federal statute, within 28 days of the filing of this notice of removal, removing defendants shall file certified copies of all records and proceedings in the Superior Court, as well as a certified copy of the docket and all docket entries. That's another requirement. 8, the removal of this action terminates all potential proceedings in the Superior Court. Footnote 4. I think I told you that before, but once they file this notice of removal, the state court no longer has jurisdiction. And that is footnote 4, which says, removing defendants have good and sufficient defenses to this action and do not waive any defenses, jurisdictional or otherwise, by the filing of this notice. Removing defendants intend no admissions of fact, law, or liability by this notice and expressly reserve all defenses and or motions. Next section is called Federal Jurisdiction exists under 28 U.S.C. 1331. This is a civil action over which this court has original jurisdiction under 28 U.S.C. 1331 and is one that may be removed to this court under 28 U.S.C. 1441A because, set forth more fully below, plaintiff's federal civil rights claim against removing defendants, namely count 3, conspiracy to deprive Ms. Reed of her Fourth Amendment rights against Proctor, Buchanan, Tully, Alberts, McCabe's, and Higgins, is exclusively and expressly based upon the federal statute, 42 U.S.C. 1983, and therefore raises substantial federal issues central to establishing plaintiffs' claims for relief. Footnote 5, which says counts 1 and 2 of the complaint assert separate 42 U.S.C. 1983 claims against defendants Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully. So, jurisdiction could be proper in federal court. They could have brought this claim in federal court. They chose to bring it in state court, and the defendant, if there is proper federal jurisdiction, has the right to remove it to federal court, like I said, if they all agree. However, there's just one little wrinkle in that Karen Reed intends to bring in the Massachusetts State Police and the town of Canton into her state court action, but there are certain procedural requirements that have to happen before she can do that. They have to be served with a notice, and then they have to reject the claim, and only then is she allowed to sue them or bring them in. That could be a wrinkle here, but maybe not. And we'll see if Karen opposes this or not, or if just lets it lie. And a federal judge will decide whether or not jurisdiction in the federal court will be proper. In particular, plaintiff alleges in count 3 of the complaint that the removing defendants violated her federal civil rights by purportedly acting in concert to deprive her of her Fourth Amendment rights under the U.S. Constitution. Where a complaint invokes 42 U.S.C. 1983, federal question jurisdiction exists. Almost by definition, a claim under 1983 arises under federal law and will support federal question jurisdiction so long as it does not clearly appear to be immaterial and made solely for the purpose of obtaining jurisdiction. That would generally be in a case where a plaintiff filed a lawsuit in federal court and just threw in a 1983 claim to get it into federal court, but didn't have a meritorious claim, let's say. So in effect, by removing this to federal court, the defendants are saying, yes, a meritorious claim may exist here. It's not frivolous. Right? Here's one that says another case, McSweeney, which says providing court a jurisdiction over counts alleging conspiracy to deprive plaintiffs of their constitutional rights. Scott says, Melanie, can MSP say Proctor was working outside the scope of his employment? Oh, yes, 100%. In fact, that's why they sued him personally in this lawsuit. He's sued in his personal capacity here. And yes, they absolutely can say that. But the claim against them, we haven't seen the causes of action against the MSP yet, but it's probably going to be, negligent supervision and hiring. You knew Proctor was a problem. You kept him on anyway. You let him go out there and investigate cases, even though you knew that he liked to hide evidence and he liked to not conduct investigations thoroughly and properly under the, the guidelines and the rules. And I'm sure that's exactly what they're going to say, but we're just going to have to wait and see. And this case is going to take years and years and years and years and years and years and years. In addition, this court has jurisdiction over the remaining counts in the complaint by way of supplemental jurisdiction under 28 U.S.C. 1367, which provides, in relevant part, in any civil action of which the district courts have original jurisdiction, the district courts shall have supplemental jurisdiction over all other claims that are so related to claims in the action within such original jurisdiction that they form part of the same case or controversy. 9 years. 9 years. And Scott says, this is going to be big. Exactly, Melanie. Tully and Yuri are cooked. Cooked. Indeed, the First Circuit has explained state and federal claims are part of the same case or controversy for the purposes of Section 1367 if they derive from a common nucleus of operative fact or are such that they would ordinarily be expected to be tried in one judicial proceeding. Plaintiff's claims refer to and rest upon the same allegation. Accordingly, this court may exercise supplemental jurisdiction over the remaining 4 state law and common law claims, counts 4 through 7 in the complaint. I do agree with that it could be proper to be in federal court. They could have brought it in federal court. Conclusion. Wherefore, defendants Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins respectfully request that the state court action be removed to the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts and that the court enter such order as may be necessary to accomplish the requested removal. XOXO, Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins by their attorney, James Tuxbury, Hinckley Allen, Boston, Mass. 02109. Send it to Zoom. And that was dated 2 days ago. Aaron Nicole wants to know if it goes to federal court, is the press the only people allowed in the courtroom? No, the public is allowed in. I went to federal court to watch one day of the Daniel Penny trial. That was in federal court here in New York. And I don't know how many seats they have. I don't know how big it is, but I had to wait in line for a little while because I didn't go right at the beginning. And we had to wait for some people to come out and then we got to go in. So you are allowed. Yes, it was 02134. I know. My Zoom fans know that. 02134. Thank you. Barking Mad says what I was saying. There's a lot of people have trauma around the holidays. Thank you for being here, Miss Melanie, and all the cupcakes. It's been a long day of FFF, forced family fun. Forced family fun. I think there's a lot of people who feel that way. And oh my gosh, did anybody watch the Thanksgiving special last night? The Saturday Night Live Thanksgiving special where they did like all of the best Thanksgiving sketches from SNL. And my favorite one is the Adele one. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where they're all fighting about politics at the dinner table of Thanksgiving. And then the little girl gets up and she hits the boom box. And she starts playing Adele, hello. And then everyone stops what they're doing and freezes and just starts singing hello. Adele's hello. It's the best. That is my favorite. And then they also had Adam Sandler's Thanksgiving song, which, you know, is always a favorite. Love Adam Sandler. So good, right? And they even had like, they went all the way back to like Eddie Murphy doing Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. So funny. Love it. And the Loud Family. Do you remember the Loud Family? That was great. Craft Houseticle says, no, Melanie, I'm halfway through season 3 of the morning show, all because of you. Isn't it good? So good. It's so good. And there's Daria putting Cardi B in there. Hello, hello, hello. Hello with the Cardi B emojis. So good.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
wait. We got to take this one down.
Hello.
Hold on, Cardi. Do it again. Say it again, Cardi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. I'm here.
I love that so much. It's never not going to make me laugh. So I'm never going to get tired of it. So just do not tell me to stop playing it. Somebody told me to stop playing it one time and I was like, no. No, I'm not going to stop playing it. Thank you, Iceman Comments. Excited to watch Walsh. And also, just curious, are you going to cover Courtney Clenny's trial? Yeah, the OnlyFans model who unalived her boyfriend will be early next year. No, I think it got pushed. Yeah, I would like to cover it as long as it doesn't conflict with something else. Because I saw some of that elevator video and some of the other video, and it was wild. We'll be early next year, I think. Thanks for being here today. I definitely appreciate it. It's my pleasure, Iceman. And also, I think the Clenny trial has been pushed. You guys can tell me. It was supposed to be beginning of next year, but I think now it's been pushed more towards summer. Sure, if it doesn't conflict, we will. Dr. Russell, thank you for your super chat. Iceman. Dr. Russell's gasp is here and says, I'm so thankful for this late live. Melanie and Mods are so great for being here with us. Oh, you guys are awesome. Nay, thanks for your super chat. Removing, as in they were removed John O'Kay, JOK, John O'Key from the house, right? Right? Good luck. Charissa said, thank you and happy Thanksgiving, Melanie. Mods Cupcakes. Thanks for you all. I'm thankful for you all too. Yes, this necklace is on my Amazon list, by the way. It's only like $20. Isn't it awesome? I love a good dupe. So yeah, my Amazon list is in the show notes below. A lot of good things. That Dyson is still on sale for $3.99. I know you guys think it's a lot of money for a hairdryer, but let me tell you what, it is life-changing. And it has only the 3 attachments that you need. The only 3 attachments that you need. It is life-changing. It will last forever. And if you have a lot of women in your house, men, I know we don't have a lot of men that watch, but the men that watch, it's a really good Christmas gift. She will love you forever. I promise you. Promise you. Oh, and the lip stain is on. I have the Dyson that is on sale right now. Hold on. It's the Dyson Airwrap, but I'm telling you, it's got the only attachments that you need. If anybody has the Dyson Airwrap, the long one, it comes with like 6 attachments. I only used 3 of them. The round brush, the long curling thing. Let me just see if I can find it on here for you real quick. And I'll drop the link if you guys want it. Oh yeah, here's the necklace. The necklace is on here. And the necklace is, the necklace is on sale for $12. Hello. You need to buy this necklace for $12 if you want it. I'll drop the link for this in here too. Hold on. It says frequently returned item, but don't let that scare you because it's perfectly fine. Hold on. How do I share the link for you with you? Do, 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 do. All right, go here. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. I don't know. It's not letting me. Why is it not letting me share the link? I usually know how to do this. I'm not that dopey, but anyway, here it is. It's $12.34. Don't you want it? The limp. Look. Oh, well, that's Cardi B. That's not the right. Bye, Cardi B. This is the one. This is the necklace. It's $12. Do you want me to drop the link? Yeah, Black Friday with me. Trust me, I'm here to tell you all of the secrets. Nobody loves to share secrets more than I do. It's $12. Like, how do you not? Get it for your friends. They're going to think you spent a ton of money. Not even kidding you. All right. Hello. Here it is. All right, go. All right, here's the necklace. Whoops. Whatever I just copied from before was like something off to put on Aiden's thing. Hold on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is not what I meant to put in there. I cut and paste something earlier that was so long, and now I have to delete the whole thing. So just hang on. Okay. Give me this link. Okay. Hello, copy. Paste. There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, where's the other thing that I looked at? I had the Dyson thing for you. I'm here to help. I'm not hawking these products because I make money, because trust me, if I tell you I make on a $12 necklace, maybe a penny. All right, hold on. Where's the one that I just looked at before? The Dyson. Oh, now it's on sale for $379. It's even a better price. Yeah, but you don't want an open box. Hold on. Oh, wait, there's only one left. I got to get you a better one. What else do you need? What else do you need? Tell me. I'm sharing all the secrets tonight. Because the regular price on those is like $649, depending on where you get it. Hello. I don't know. I'm gonna have to find it for you guys. If anybody wants it, let me know, because I don't know. I don't want to waste time looking for it if nobody wants it anyway. What was your favorite thing to eat? What's your favorite kind of pie? Tell me what your favorite kind of pie is. Mine's coconut cream. Thank you, Erin, for your 20. Says Melanie, cupcakes. What could be better on Thanksgiving? Thanks for the stream, Melanie. Oh, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. What else do you guys want to talk about? I mean, the stream is called, Thanksgiving therapy for those of us who need therapy because of our PTSD from holidays as children. So somebody said in there, thanks for understanding the PTSD that goes along with holidays from childhood. Peppermint says, do you have to messy, dirty, quickly dry your hair before you like to use the air wrap? most of the time I use it on dry hair, but you can totally, the thing about the Air Wrap is that it dries your hair so quickly that it's really fast. But like this, what I did today was on dry hair. I just spray it with water a little bit and then use it. But you can use it to also fully dry your hair. And it's awesome. My lip tint. This one is First Kiss. First Kiss. Wonder Skin. First Kiss. It's kind of went away. But I did put it on before I got on here. But I've been reading so much that it goes away. Oh, you're doing Turkey Day tomorrow, Angie. So you can, I keep you company while you're cooking. I did it yesterday too. I kept a lot of people company yesterday while they were cooking. Olivia says the search warrant for Karen's phone is unchanged as far as I know. Just double check the filings. Trying to figure out the whole search warrant docket number nomenclature. Stay tuned. Yeah, it's just they're just hiding it. I think. Wow. Somebody found it on Reddit. Well done. Well done. This was filed by Boozang. It's about 12 pages. I don't have time to read it now, but thank you very much to SM who sent this to me. Iced Latte Addict. Thank you, Addict. Thank you very much. I will have this, I guess, for tomorrow. We can do this. Now, you're amazing. Were you able to find Cosgrove's response to this? And when the hell is it going to be? It's 12 pages. Yeah, somebody else sent it to me too. All right, Olivia, I have it. I'll shoot it over to you. Thanks, Allison, for sending it to me as well. Well done. Well done, you guys. And then I think Cosgrove responded to that one too. So now that's the last piece of the puzzle that we're looking for. And then what we need to know is whether there's ever going to be a hearing on that, because we can't find it and we can't find the case number. Other Mary says that necklace is giving glamorous Italian auntie. Thank you. Thank you. It's very did you guys watch I can't think of anything anymore. I think I have early onset Alzheimer's disease or something, because hold on. It's the show that takes place at a different resort every year. And the first year was in Hawaii and Jennifer Coolidge was in it. And then the second year was in Italy. And then the third year was in another place. But I like season 2 the best. White Lotus. Thank you. White Lotus. Thank you very much. Olivia, if you need it, let me know. Thank you. White Lotus, right? It's giving a little White Lotus. Yeah. Jennifer Coolidge's White Lotus stuff. I like coconut cream pie. What kind of pie do you like? Or coconut meringue pie is really good too. I love coconut. People either hate coconut or love coconut. I'm drinking iced coffee right now too, Olivia. I'm going to be up all night, but what else? Somebody said, check your B12 levels for brain fog. That could be true. That could be what's happening here. Thanks, Shari. That could be. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving too. We're just here shooting the stuff. Thanks, Laura, for becoming a member. Oh, welcome. I think you're going to like it here. And Erin, I think I thanked you for the 20, but thank you again. Thanks for the stream, she says. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. And my chat is frozen. I don't know if your chat is frozen too. Somebody said, here is man Shannon selling trinkets with his wife at a Texas neighborhood market. I mean, I don't want to shame him. Thanks for sending me these pictures, but I don't know. I feel like, he's been shamed. He's been shamed publicly. I don't need to add to that for him. He may be just, trying to make a couple extra bucks. I think perhaps his employer should have done their due diligence on his credentials before Thanks, Aaron. Before, hiring him out as an expert is all. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know why my chat on my phone is frozen. Sometimes I go back out. I can't get back into my own stream. It's Shonda. It's a Michigas. It's the whole thing. It's a mess. It's a whole mess. And look at Charissa sending another 5 memberships. You're amazing. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? But now it's not showing up over here on the StreamYard as such. Man, Shannon was Shannon Burgess from the Karen Reed trial number 2. He was a witness with an expert witness, a purported expert witness. Is he selling his calculator? I don't know. He might be. Maybe he's selling his degree. I don't know. Thanks, Lindsay, with free of Venmo. Lindsay says, if Proctor can't afford to fight all of this, could he potentially offer up the truth to the Reed side in exchange for being removed from the suit, similar to what can happen in a criminal case? Yeah, sure. Sure, a little quid pro quo, but the problem is the other defendants could keep him in and still have like cross claims against him. So even if Karen Reed's team said we will discontinue against you if you testify with the truth in our favor, they could keep him in that way, the co-defendants. But I mean, if nothing else, it's going to be interesting. Carolyn, if you're locked out, you could send me your channel at number, but you need to send me the actual link to your channel. I need the link. It doesn't work that way. I can't look you up by your name. I can only look at the link. I have to click on the link and do a thing. And Olivia says, well, I don't know what Olivia says. I can see it on my phone, but I can't see it on my. She says, agreed. Shannon shouldn't be shamed beyond what he did regarding his resume, CVs. I felt extremely conflicted about that whole thing, giving Karen Reed's defense that info because I felt bad. But someone's life, Karen Reed's, was on the line. That's more important. Yes, I agree. And that's why I'm not going to spew rumors about people. And I don't know. It's like everyone's got enough personal baggage. Why do people got to go out there and publish things about people? Not necessarily that thing, but just in general. Can't everyone just pretend to be an adult for a half a second? It's really not that hard. It's not that hard to be classy. Thanks. Just to be classy and not share your screenshots of your private conversations. And I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just too old to understand it because I just really don't get it. Do you guys get it? If anybody wants the Dyson link, just email me and I'll send it to you because I'm at a loss trying to look at this and I'm tired. But I'll keep talking if you want to keep talking. I'll keep talking. Yeah, now it's kind of catching up with itself, the chat, but I don't know. Charissa gifted another 5 memberships, and Kay Willis gifted another 5 memberships. She's a realtor south of Boston, and if you need to get out of there, she'll help you. She'll sell your house, or she'll get you a good deal in Canton. I don't know. Thank you, Kay, for coming in and gifting for a lot of new members tonight. It is so hard to adult nowadays. I don't know. I don't know why. A lot of people are surprised about the stuff that Jimmy and Will talked about the other day because I have never discussed any of that stuff publicly. And so it is another person who shall not be named on my channel because I have never named this person on my channel before. And I don't talk about all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I don't address publicly because I don't care enough to address it publicly. People who need to know, and the people who don't need to know, like all of you, don't need to know it. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes on. You should see the BS that I deal with on a daily basis just for being on YouTube. It's worth it because I love you all. I love you all with all of my heart. If I don't see you soon, I'm going to die. And I love you. But really, it's people are like, oh, she deserves it. She deserves it because she puts herself out there on YouTube. Really? Really? Is that what we're going to do? Is that what we're going to say now? Thanks, Anna. No, you're the bestest. You are the bestest. The Air app is $4.99 now. No, I think I have a better link for you. Hold on. It's got to be in my Amazon history, right? Because I just looked at it. So let me just see. There's a way for you to look at your Amazon search history, right? Is it, maybe it was only like a 1-day deal and maybe it went off? Hmm. Thank you, Sherilyn. Thank you so much. She sent me in Cash App, says thank you for the cupcakes today. Cupcakes are the best. You guys are the best. Like, just trying to create a community of like kind-minded people. Is it really that hard? It's not, because the mean people just are not allowed to participate. And really, that's my choice, right? My chat, my choice. I should make t-shirts. My chat, my choice. Done. I should do that. I don't know how to find my search history. Why do they have to make everything so hard? It's so hard. You got one on Tuesday for your daughter-in-law, Denise said, for $3.99, right? And like, why? I had it saved for you guys and everything. Maybe it's in my, not in my carpet, in my other thing, like my saved items. Maybe that's where I saved it for you guys. Saved for later, in the saved for later section. I don't know. Email me and I'll find it for you, I promise. Please hit the like button to push the video out. Thank you very much. I know. Thank you, Venus Blue. First of all, Mariska Hargitay is my spirit animal. Did anybody watch her documentary? All right, let's just talk about this for a second. Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Maloney were both on the parade this morning. I saw only an Instagram reel of Mariska running up to Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb and giving them a big hug. She is my spirit animal. My daughter met her recently at a film festival. And her mother, for those of you who don't know, was Jayne Mansfield, is Mariska Hargitay's mother. Mariska Hargitay, who's that? On SVU, Law and Order SVU, Olivia. I can't be friends with you anymore. And her name is pronounced Mariska. She did a couple of podcasts recently. One, she was on with Amy Poehler, which was amazing. And she also did Call Her Daddy. And she has on the call sheet every day, because sometimes she also directs Law and Order SVU. She has the phonetic pronunciation of her name, and it's Mariska. And if anybody pronounces it wrong, she gets really upset. So it's Mariska. She does. She gets really mad if you don't pronounce it correctly. And her documentary is about her mother, Jayne Mansfield, and about how she got to finding out about her mother. And I don't want to tell you about it because it will spoil it for you, but it is excellent. So I'm going to say, go watch it. And also in the same breath, I'm still going to manifest me getting a role on SVU because I've auditioned for it several times. And then, the whole panty happened and all that. And then I was like, all right, why don't I go on YouTube? And now I don't even know if I have to. But I really think I should be either on Law and Order Organized Crime or SVU. I'll take either one. Or the original Law and Order, because now, who's on there now? The original Law and Order, Tony Goldwyn. Did anybody watch Scandal? Did anybody watch Scandal? Tony Goldwyn, President Fitz. Yeah, he's on the original Law and Order. And so is Maura. I want to say Maura Healey, but it's not Maura Healey. Maura Tierney. Thank you. Thank you, Suze. But did anybody watch Scandal? Oh, I love Scandal. You know what? I should go back and watch Scandal again. Scandal was so good. And also Damages. Damages is one of the greatest shows ever. Glenn Close is unbelievable. If you've never watched Damages, go watch it. It's so good. Let me see where we can find the Jayne Mansfield documentary. Boop. I don't know if it's only in theaters still. Does anybody know if it's streaming yet? Mariska Hargitay's. It's called My Mom Jayne. Let's see if I can find it for you. My Mom Jayne. And I've heard her give several interviews about it. Oh, is it on HBO? It may be on HBO now. It says it's on HBO. All right, now I'm going to have to look for it. So HBO Max. And look at Silver Swag is watching Damages right now. So good. So this is what it looks like. It's called My Mom Jayne. And I love some Mariska Hargitay. And her husband, her husband, she's married to, Peter Herman. Oh, yeah, he's pretty easy to look at, too. And they met on the set of Law & Order SVU. So here it is. It's called My Mom Jayne. And it explores the life. All right, go. And legacy of Mariska Hargitay's mother, Hollywood icon Jayne Mansfield, who died tragically in a car accident at age 34 when Mariska was only 3 years old. Yeah, and you know what happened in that car accident? Mariska was only 3. Of course, it was way back in the day when there were no seatbelts, basically. And the car was like crushed. Her mom was killed, and she was like underneath one of the seats. And like in the hospital, everyone was like, "Where's Mariska?" And they're like, "Who's Mariska?" And they're like, "She was in the car too." And then I don't know how long it took them to go back to the car and find Mariska underneath one of the seats. Like, it's a crazy story, but I don't want to tell you too much. So go and watch it yourself. But anyway, Peter Herman, let's get back to Mariska Hargitay, is married to Peter Herman, who she met on the Law & Order SVU set. Let's look at Peter Herman for those of you who don't know. He was also in the movie, in the show Younger. Did you guys watch that? Younger? That was pretty good. This is Peter Herman. And they've been married for a long time. That was with Sutton Foster. That was with Sutton Foster and Younger. I liked that show. It was weird, though. It was like, she was like, I forget how old, and she was pretending to be in her 20s to get a job. And Peter Herman played Sutton Foster's love interest in the show Younger. And I love Peter Herman. Right. Iceman says, wow, what a story. Thank God she survived, or we never would have known Benson. That's right. Yeah, I loved it. So that's always good. Wow. Christy Lou says the lower bumper bar on commercial trucks is called a Mansfield bar after that Jayne Mansfield. Wow, I did not know that. He was on 30 Rock, Peter Herman? Was he? I never watched 30 Rock. Not the hugest like Alec Baldwin fan, but I love Peter. I love Peter. I love Tina Fey. I just never got into 30 Rock. Venus Blue, Crash Daddy says, Boston Legal is a great show if anyone's looking. Yeah, that's a good one too. I haven't watched that in a long time. Yeah, Younger is pretty good, but strains credulity a little bit, right, Cheryl? It does. Tina's Window says, federal courts, no cameras, hiding proceedings, or is there another legal reason? I won't ask again, pardon. There could be another reason. They have federal jurisdiction. They don't want to be on camera, but it doesn't matter because every time they come out of the courthouse, reporters are going to be flooding them. Who's probably the most upset about what if this stays in federal court? Who's going to be the most upset is the TV stations, Court TV, Law and Crime. All mainstream media is going to be really upset because they know where their ratings come from, and their ratings come from Karen Reed. They're going to be more upset than anyone. Right? In my opinion. Yeah, right. Did YouTube have turkey today? Because it's sluggish and freezing a lot. I know. Same here. My chat is frozen. Jam Cracker says, I've ordered the blinds, the t-shirt hangers, Wonder Skin lips, the cute remote holder from your list, and I love them all. Thanks for the recommendations and your drama-free zone. Oh, you're welcome. I put so many things on my Amazon storefront that are like really cheap, but like really needed. You know what you really need is you really need that strainer that extends and it goes right across your sink, because my kids eat so much ramen and so much soup with noodles in it that they just dump it in the sink. And this thing is like a big strainer and it fits into your sink, and now they can just dump their ramen into that thing, and then I can just take that thing out and throw all the noodles in the garbage. Hate that. SW says, I watched Nuremberg, Melanie. I was a little disappointed, expected more. Did you watch it in the theater? I really liked it. I found it to be like, I found the time to go by very fast. It was 2 hours and 17 minutes, I want to say. But here's the thing. The theater that I was in has recliners that are heated. So maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. And I definitely think that Russell Crowe and Rami Malek will get nominated for Oscars. But I did really like it a lot. I didn't even look at my watch once, which is very unusual for me. Oh, thank you, Melanie. Melanie, here's another Melanie. Melanie Desiree says, I adore you, Melanie, on disability, so I can't afford a membership, but I still hope you get my message. You are beautiful inside and out. Thank you for your show. Oh, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching and just for being here. Nothing is ever expected of any of you. My chat is finally working. Yeah, I don't know. Mangione got one of his federal hearings shown. No, that was a state court hearing. I know what you're talking about, and because I covered it, and that was, I think, in Manhattan State Court. I mean, in New York Supreme Court, which is our lowest court here, but that's the state court. The federal court proceeding was not on camera, as far as I know. But I remember the one you're talking about, and there were still photos, and there may have been a little bit of video. But New York is weird like that. Like, we just don't have cameras in courtrooms here, even in state court. Like the Long Island serial killer. Right now, as of right now, there will be no camera in that courtroom. They allow Newsday to go in with a still photographs, and Newsday is usually the pool camera. And heated recliners, says Mitchell. How much are those tickets? It was $13. $13. It was only playing before noon. There was one theater that it was in, and all of those other, every other theater had Wicked in it. It's just the way it is. It wasn't that loud, actually. It wasn't that loud in the theater. I thought it was going to be too. Like the previews were loud, but then when the movie started, because it was more of a talk movie, it was like a legal thriller. You know, it was like a lawyer movie. There, it wasn't very loud. They did a remake of Nuremberg. I don't know. I never saw the first one. So this is a brand new one with Russell Crowe. Not Island Cinema. No, it's at all the AMC theaters, Fresh Brown Eyes. All the AMC theaters on the island have heated recliners. Yeah, it's AMC. So, and then you join AMC, you get the app on your phone. It's like $15 a year. You get discounts if you buy your tickets online. You buy your tickets online. You reserve your recliner online, as it were. And really, they have, you know what else they have really good there? I mean, it sounds disgusting. AMC movie theaters on Long Island have great hamburgers. Like, you'd be surprised, and they deliver it right to your seat. Because with your recliner, you also have like a tray table. I mean, it's unbelievable. Really, it's unbelievable. Yeah, gotta go. AMC is the only way. It's the only way to do it. Oh, thanks, Tina. Says, I lost my card. I was a cupcake until yesterday, and I will absolutely join again. You're the best ticket out there, Melanie. Just keep participating in the chat. And there's so many gifters that maybe you'll get them. Oh, you know what? I can gift some memberships too. I'll give some memberships right now. Because there's a new thing that they allow me to do. They allow me to gift some memberships. So I think I can do that right now. So let me see if I can do that. Membership gifting. You have 5 memberships left to send this month. I'm going to send them now. It's random, so I can't like dole them out to whoever. Of course you tip the movie waitress, Mitchell. Listen, I was a waitress for a very long time. I'm a very good tipper because I've been there. All right, just participate. And here we go. I'm going to send 5 memberships now. Ready, set, go. Thank me very much. Thank me very much. Let's see who got them. Christy Lou, Aiden Higgins, real name. Tina's widow, you got one. Sarah Jane, and HMBL Mama. Congratulations. I think YouTube, all of a sudden, it's a new thing. Tina's window. You won. If you have a cupcake next to your name, you won. YouTube, it's a new thing. YouTube like gives creators like, I think 10 a month that I can give out somehow. And that was the last 5. So there you go. You won. See? All you have to do is say something nice. Karma knows your address, Tina. Karma knows your address. And Charissa gifted another 5. So welcome. Norfolk County Corruption got a membership. New York City Meg, Susan Wright, and Jules on the Farm from Charissa, as well as Rocky Top Girl 4. Thank you to Charissa. Congratulations, winners. And also tomorrow, I think there's going to be a sale in the merch shop tomorrow. So wait until tomorrow to buy your merch. Let me see. Hold on. I think tomorrow there's going to be a sale. Let me just see if I can tell you. Hold on. Because I don't want you guys to pay full price for anything. I share all my secrets. You should get everything. I know this chat is stuck. Go out, come back. We broke the internet or something. I don't know. YouTube's acting wonky. But I think the sale starts tomorrow. So don't buy anything until I'll come back on tomorrow and remind you. I think they do a Black Friday thing. It's not me. It's a third-party vendor. But I think tomorrow they're going to start a new promo for the 28th, 29th, and 30th. It's going to be a Black Friday deal, 30% off of everything on orders $70 and up. So let's take a look at the shop. Let's take a look at the shop. Why not? Let's, here we go. I got some Christmas stuff in there for you guys. Some holiday things. All right, here we go. Here's the shop. And look, I put some Christmas ornaments. Look, you can get a Christmas ornament. Look at that. That's the tour shirt on a Christmas ornament. It's $20, but if you spend more than 70 tomorrow, you're going to get 30% off everything. And then on the back, look what it says on the back. XOXO, Attorney Melanie Little. Woo, woo. Then, let's see. There's also a Santa hat in here. Let's see. Let's go to the Christmas stuff first. Accessories. You guys wanted a beanie. I put a beanie in there for you. Christmas, you got a little Santa hat for you. That's the I went to Cancun with Attorney Melanie. Little Santa hat. Who doesn't need one of those? Come on. Who doesn't need one of those? Craftasticals. It's 4 a.m. My eyes are closing. You're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, come on. You need to have this. You need to have this Santa hat, but don't buy it until tomorrow. All right, don't buy it until tomorrow. So tomorrow we should do some giveaways because then I get 30% off too. I can see your messages, Jersey. I can see it. All right, and then hold on, because now what we also have is baby stuff. Look at the babies. Look at the baby stuff. Good Citizen, did you get the baby stuff that I sent you? Did you get the onesie? Because I need your baby to be my model. The gamers are taking up the bandwidth. I can see your messages, but they're like not loading on StreamYard and only loading on my phone. You might have to refresh your browser. I don't know. But there's also like a really cute baby. Look at these baby onesies. I mean, come on, could you die? Look, they're fleece. Stop. Really? Stop. It's the tour shirt. And it's got it on the back too. I mean, I know. I wish we could get adult onesies. They don't have those in Spread Shop. Because who doesn't love feety pajamas? In fact, I am the worst. Like, I cannot keep a secret. Like, I'm the worst at keeping secrets when I buy gifts for people. So, of course, I bought me and the girls matching. I do Christmas pajamas every year. And I found some really cute Christmas, like Christmas pants. I don't know what to call them. Like Christmas bottoms, let's say, on Urban. And they were on sale. And so I bought us all them and I had to give them out today. I'm like, okay, I can't keep a secret. You're getting them for Thanksgiving. You're getting your Christmas PJs for Thanksgiving. Oh, look at these baby things. Aren't they adorbs? So adorbs. Some of them are organic cotton. I know. I wish they had adult onesies too. But let's see what else we have. We have stickers. You could have stickers, magnets. I wish they had car magnets, which they don't really have. And I haven't ordered this square magnet, so I don't know how thin it is. I put magnets on either side of my car. Mine happen to be Dave Matthews magnets because that way it's easy for me to find my car. And you just got to take them off if you go to the drive-through car wash, because sometimes they fall off. I learned that the hard way, and then I couldn't find it. And of course, the greatest thing here in the shop is the Melanie Little tour shirt, because is this not a throwback to the 80s tour shirts that we used to wear? It says Attorney Melanie Little, XOXO, 2025 tour, and join the snark tank. And then on the back, it's got like all the set list, which is all the things that we've been saying all year. God save us from the Commonwealth. Show me the papers. The world is watching. Grave concerns. And it's very creative. And one of you guys came up with this idea. I'm the one who made up the set list, though. It's all the things that we have said. And there's some cool sweatshirts in here. My favorite. Oh, I like the tie-dye sweatshirts the best of these, which I think are pretty awesome. And then they come in all these different colors. Like $48.99 isn't so bad, but it's better when it's 30% off. So, there's that. Well, I'm not going to put any more free Karen Reed, because free Karen Reed is freed, right? Karen Reed is freed. And what you guys don't know, many of you do know because I told you, but any of the free Karen Reed merch that I sold, I took all of the profits from that merch, which is not a lot, because I mean, if I make $1 on a shirt, it's like a lot. I took all the money and I bought DoorDash gift cards to feed Karen Reed and the team during the second trial. And you guys did that. And so I don't know. I'm not going to give you a number because I'm not here to brag about it. I just want to tell you that that's what you guys did by buying the merch. But now Karen Reed is free. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, they're still going after her like Cosgrove's motion, but I take your point. Right. But I don't know if I just don't know. I think can we get the American Apparel muscle tank? I don't know. Is it in the spread shop? Do they have that? I'll write it down. Muscle tank. I think I've had tank tops in there before. They didn't really sell. So I try not to overload the shop with stuff, because then it's just like, it can get overwhelming if you go in there and you are like, oh my God, there's too much stuff. I just get overwhelmed and then you can't shop. But maybe that's just me and my self-diagnosed ADHD. I don't know. Could be. We also have It Strains Credulity merch with Alice on it. So that's kind of cute. See, like there's a tank top here. Like we have that one. But then the tank tops don't really sell for some reason. I don't know why. And so that's that. But wait until tomorrow. The news. Oh yeah, where's the beanie? I'll show you the beanie. Thanks. And we have aprons too. I think the aprons are really cute. I have a lot of aprons. And so this is I went to Cancun with Attorney Melanie Little apron. Those are cool. They're like chef's aprons. $23. Makes a good gift, right? And then there's the beanie. And it comes in gray. And it comes in whatever this color is, olive. Cute, right? Cute. I went to Cancun with Attorney Melanie Little. And look, Five Boys Mama says, I don't chat often. Not because I have nothing to say, but I love watching Melanie tell us about court cases. And most of the time, someone beats me to what I was thinking about saying. I know we all think, great minds think alike. And so that is a reason why so many people watch me, because they tell me. They say that I say exactly what you are thinking. And, all I could say is great minds. Right? Great minds. So thank you very much, Five Boys Mama. I was Persephone, now I can't be, says Hippie Thanksgiving Melanie. Thank you for your super chat. Venus Blue says Mariska and Maloney on the Macy's Day Parade. That's how we got started on the Mariska Hargitay, My Mom Jayne. Allison, thanks for being here for 8 months, and happy Thanksgiving to you. And Sue says Mariska started the Joyful Heart Foundation for survivors of SA. Right. She does great work. I wear my Fearless necklace every day. She does, because there was such a backlog on grape kits. And she's doing the Lord's work. Venus Blue Crest Daddy says Boston Legal is a great show if anyone's looking. Thank you. Jam Cracker says, I've ordered, we covered this, and that's how we got into the whole Amazon list and then merch. And Robert, thanks for your 10, says 100 Center Street, Alan Arkin. Well, I know who Alan Arkin is. One of my favorite movies of all time. Hold on, because I got to think of the name of it now. It was Alan Arkin. And he played the father. I think he played like the father-in-law. And he was like, Serpentine, Serpentine. And they were dodging bullets. What's the name of that movie? 100 Center Street is where the criminal court building is, but is that the name of a movie, Robert? Thank you for your time. Sharon Cracker says, also just finished all 4 seasons of The Morning Show. OMG, I couldn't stop. I know, I really loved it too. I really loved it too. The In-Laws with Peter Falk. Thank you, Robert. Yes, you know exactly. It's called The In-Laws. I said he was like the in-law. Yes. Do you remember that movie? I think I saw it like in the movie theater when I was a kid, and I love that movie so much. It's called The In-Laws. Yes. If you haven't seen that, that is a classic. It was so funny. It's almost like it's almost like the other movies that I will watch all the time are Meet the Fockers and Meet the Parents. And that was like kind of similar. It's called The In-Laws, but it's like almost like that, like a Meet the Fockers kind of Meet the Parents kind of movie, which I will watch every time it's on because I love Ben Stiller. And Barbara Streisand was in one of those Meet the Fockers, right? And Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. I mean, it's unbelievable. 100 Center Street was a legal drama. Really? Was it it was a series. Wow. All right. That's a new one for me. Jam Cracker says, also, I just finished all 4 seasons of The Morning Show. Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Look at me. I gifted 5 memberships. And then Charissa gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, sweet pea. And Glamasu says, Mariska founded the Joyful Heart Foundations. Yeah, we just talked about that. And can you please have the free Karen Reed design for the teddy? I don't know what I have, what the teddy bear says on it right now. I have no idea. Hang on. Because they also have other animals other than bears. And I think I did have that bear in there, but right now it's got the Cancun shirt on it. They have like a dog. They have like a couple of different bears. Maybe we'll look at the choices one day and you guys can see if there's anything you want. And then Venus Blue wanted the muscle tank. And Kelly said, shirt fundraiser for Kelsey. I can design it. We could do that, but doing it through Spreadshirt, there's not a lot of profits to be had. So, I mean, that's the problem. And so when I did it for Karen Reed, I knew that I could use the money to feed the team. Like as an attorney, like I don't feel comfortable like donating cash. That's why you don't see me on a ton of fundraisers, because I just like there's an ethical twist to it. And so I have to think about it. Thanks, Kelly. I would have to think about it, how it could be done in a way that, because, she needs cash. Cash is what she needs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Cal? Yeah, she needs cash. That's what she needs. And so, like, they're not on trial. Like, me feeding the team right now doesn't help. But I know that they needed to feed the team during the Karen Reed trial because they were talking about it, right? And every day they had to go to the church and they had to feed all of these people. And so food is love, right? And so I thought that would be a great way to use the profits from that was for you guys to feed the team. So that's what we did. Kelly, thank you so much for your $50 Venmo. Thank you so much. She's a nurse. I don't want to read this whole thing because it's your private information, but you've been a cupcake for a year. May the treat you brought by bring a smile as big as the one I have every time I'm notified Melanie Little is going live. Oh, that is so sweet, Kelly. That makes me want to cry. That makes me want to cry. You're amazing. Thank you, Sherilyn. All right, hang on to the people that are blocked. Let me see if I can unblock you. I don't know. YouTube is so weird, man. So weird. That's a dead link. Leslie, whatever link you sent me was dead. And Carolyn, you're not blocked, so I'm not sure what the issue is. The settings today is like a 48-hour setting, so if you have not been subscribed just subscribe, not a member or anything for 48 hours. That could be why. But as I look at the link that you sent me for your channel, that you are not hidden, you are not blocked. There's nothing wrong. You should be able to chat just fine. And so there's that. What else you got, cupcakes? What else you got? Thank you, my Labrador's mom, for your 20. Happy holidays, all you cupcakes out there, and drive safe, please. Yes, please drive safe. Last night is the worst. It always historically has been like the worst night to go out, because even when I was in college 100 million years ago, the night before Thanksgiving was always a huge night out, right? Because everyone was home from college and everyone would go out to the bars to say hello and meet each other and whatever. And it was always like a thing. Now, apparently, it's called Blackout Wednesday. And thank God that my kids were not out driving anywhere last night. I said, have friends over. You don't need to be driving out there, because it's not good. And Miss Scarlett, as Lucy says, you are not alone. We are here with you. We are here with you, Miss Scarlett. And Lori says, me too. I'm on my 5th load of laundry. And Miss Scarlett says, I'm spending Thanksgiving alone, so you brighten my day, Melanie, by giving me something to watch and help the time go by. I know. I said that yesterday. I said, I know there's a lot of people that spend Thanksgiving alone. And so we wanted to come and keep everyone company. And also, a lot of people have trauma around the holidays. Trauma from being a kid, having holidays where you were walking on eggshells, trying to manage everyone's emotions, trying to be the referee between all the people that were fighting at the holidays and things like that. Right? Being a little kid and trying to manage everyone's emotions is a really, really, really hard thing to do. How do I know? I just do. Aiden Higgins' real name says, I am on night feed duty. So it cheered me up. Good. Jennifer says, can we ask you questions about your church victim lawyering? Was the movie Spotlight similar to your experiences? Yes. Yes. In fact, the movie Spotlight is based on exactly what I was doing, except it's based on Mitch Garabedian and the attorneys that were handling the cases out of Boston. And so, yes. In fact, that scandal broke in 2002. I'm a civil litigator, so I handled all kinds of cases. I'm retired now, but all kinds of cases, including thousands of car accident cases and dog bite cases. That's how I knew John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. That was not a pedestrian versus motor vehicle accident. But I also handled clergy SA cases and a lot of SA cases and a lot of cases for other victims of other horrific things. Plane crashes, train crashes, falling off scaffolding, civil rights violations, sexual harassment cases in federal court. And when this scandal broke, I had a client who was a young kid. He was like maybe 30. And he came in the day that it broke in Newsday. You guys might remember this if you're on Long Island. Newsday is the Long Island newspaper. And came in with the cover of Newsday, on which there was a picture of a priest who had abused kids. And he threw it down and he was hysterical, crying. And he was my client because he had had a car accident. And he said, that guy did the same thing to me. And then I started talking to the press. I wouldn't shut up about it. And I talked to the press, and I talked to the press some more. And I went on every single news channel that would have me. I was on Good Morning America. I was on, pick one. I was on all of them. I was in the New York Times. I was in the LA Times. Google me in New York Times and LA Times. You'll see it. And then because I was on all of the news channels, I started getting more calls from men and women from all across the country. And it turned into a whole thing. And then Suffolk County, New York, convened a grand jury, and they issued a scathing report. And it was very detailed, but the priests were named like priest A, priest B, priest C, priest D. And I forget how many pages it was. Let me just look it up. And from that grew more and more cases. Hold on. County. I'll tell you, because I remember it broke in 2002. And the grand jury report of Suffolk County when did they render their report? Well, they announced in April of 2002 that they were going to. But then in 2003, February is when they released the grand jury report, February of 2003. And the grand jury found in Suffolk County that the Long Island Diocese, which is called the Rockville Center Diocese, and encompasses all of Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk County, protected 58 abusive priests. 58 of them. 58. Through what it called a sham policy designed to protect the church's reputation and minimize payouts to victims. That's what happened. It was 180-page grand jury report issued by a Suffolk County grand jury. More than 30 priests and more than 40 victims of abuse testified in front of the grand jury. And the grand jury also examined thousands of church records over a 9-month period. The grand jury sat for 9 months. And the report said, quote, the response of priests in the diocesan hierarchy to allegations of criminal sexual abuse was not pastoral. In fact, although there was a written policy that set a pastoral tone, it was a sham. The diocese failed to follow the policy from its inception, even at the most rudimentary level. And what happened was, because I told the story again the other day, Monsignor Alan Plaka, who may have a connection to the Long Island serial killer, was one of the architects of this policy. They had a whole written thing of what to do when the moms came in to complain about Father Hands. Okay, there was actually a priest named Father Hands. Like, you can't make this up. Monsignor Alan Plaka, who wrote the policy, was also a lawyer. So the moms didn't know, or dads, when they came in to complain about Father Hands or other priests, that they were also talking to a lawyer. He wasn't just a priest, he was a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And Father Michael Hands actually testified in front of the Suffolk County grand jury. And he had, at the time he testified in front of the grand jury, was imprisoned for child SA. But he agreed to cooperate with authorities in return for sentencing considerations. I think he also said, Father Michael Hands said that he had been abused by a priest as a child too. Like, the cycle is horrific. And the diocese was led by Bishop William Murphy. At the time, it's the nation's 6th largest diocese with 1.3 million Catholics. And then, prior to becoming the Bishop of Rockville Center, Bishop William Murphy was the chief assistant to Cardinal Bernard Law, who was the former Archbishop of Boston. Okay. And Aiden Higgins is here saying, nobody believed me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because who would believe you, right? First of all, listen, they know exactly who to target. Okay. These pedos know exactly who to target, right? They target kids from maybe large families. And you're the youngest of 7. You don't get a lot of attention at home. They target kids from alcoholic parents. They target kids from broken homes. They target kids who are not going to tell. They know exactly who to pick. It's a whole grooming process. Okay. They're not going to choose an outspoken kid who's a loudmouth, who's going to tell everybody. They know who to target. And if you had Father Bud, I'm going to use the name Father Bud, because if you're here on Long Island, you know who Father Bud is. If you had Father Bud sitting at your dinner table on Sundays, you were like the king and queen of the neighborhood. Everybody wanted Father Bud at their dinner table. And if Father Bud wanted to take you, your kid to play golf, or take your kid on a retreat for the weekend, you felt very special that your child was given Father Bud's attention. And what had happened with Father Bud and many, many other priests is that I went to all-girls Catholic high school. And it turned out that Father Bud was the chaplain at my all-girls high school. You know why? Well, because when he was at Holy Family, he was abusing boys there. And so the diocese said, let's move him over to the all-girls Catholic school where he won't be a problem. But they didn't tell anybody about it. And my high school wasn't very far away from Holy Family. Disgusting. That's what they did. They shuffled them around. They didn't tell anybody. But the most horrific part about this grand jury investigation is that no criminal charges could be brought. Because at the time when this came out in 2003, New York was the most pedo-friendly state in the country. And so if you could keep a child quiet long enough, you would not go to jail and you could not even be sued. And so we fought and fought and fought for, 15 years for the law to be changed. And they finally passed the Child Victims Act, in which they opened a 1-year window for the statute of limitations, because the cases that I had, because I had them so far back in 2003, 2002, the statute of limitations had expired because all of these people were past the statute of limitations. In civil court, you had 3 years from the time the child turned 18 to sue. And if the child was older than 21, that's it. Your case would get thrown out. So I had like 50 or 60 clients, men and women both. They went all the way up to the highest court of appeals in New York, and the cases were thrown out on statute of limitations. Now, years later, after the Child Victims Act passed, finally, because it tried to get passed for years and years and years and years and years. Then all of a sudden the diocese said, oh, you know what? We're going to start offering money to settle these cases. And the clients could opt in or out. And it was like maybe 20 years, no, not 20 years later, but it was like at least 15 years later, whenever it finally passed, I don't recall. And then the clients did get settlements in the end, confidential ones, of course, but only because the lobbying was such that the Child's Victim Act finally passed. It was horrific. It was horrific. And I'm an empath, okay? I cannot separate what I do for a living, and I can't just not bring it home with me. I couldn't just leave it at the office and like it wouldn't affect me. I'm very affected. Can you tell? I'm very affected by this stuff. And so after like such a long fight, that's when I finally decided, like, look, I got to do something else. That's why it's like a big part of the reason why I'm retired, because I was like, I'm going to like die of a heart attack from all of the stress that is involved with all of this fight all the time. And I was a plaintiff's lawyer. Plaintiff's lawyers make a good deal of money. So I was okay. Now I'm here on YouTube, not because I was an unsuccessful lawyer, but because I love it here. Hold on. Mitch Garabedian is still handling these cases, Jennifer. He's still doing it. I know. It is very, 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 it's hard when you're an empath. And Sherry says, oh my God, that's unreal. Thank you for fighting for all of those that suffered as a child. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. And all of that from, I don't know, somebody said, can you please tell us about your fight against the Catholic Church? And that's it kind of in a nutshell, but night feed duty. We covered that one. And Trish says, anyway, can add free Kelsey jewelry. I'll email with ideas. I don't know. They don't have jewelry. They don't have jewelry in the spread shop. Spread shop is my vendor. And so I don't manufacture jewelry, babe. And Trish says, the only thing that exceeds your outer beauty is your inner. Never been more proud to support a channel. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Miss Scarlett gets it. She's like, I am an empath also. Spent 20 years in mental health. 2022 needed to take a break or I was going to break. Yeah. Yeah. You have to. Like, I was like, I need to namaste for like the final chapter of my professional career. I need to namaste it a bit. Like just yoga every day. It was not cutting it for me, and it was like, okay, I got to just pivot and do something else, because it takes a toll on you. Litigation is exhausting. It's exhausting because think about it. You fight all day. You fight all day. You're fighting with insurance companies to pay your clients. You're fighting with judges. You're fighting with opposing counsel. And not even like, it's not always fighting, but everything is it's antagonistic. And it's not like, I always got along with opposing counsel, but everything is a fight. Insurance companies don't want to pay your clients. Your clients are entitled to the money. They want to hold on to their money. And the adjusters are nice, very nice people, but they're tied because they get reserves and then they don't always get to pay. And then defense attorneys, they want to try cases because they get paid by the hour. So it's just fighting all the time. You know what I'm saying? Eventually it's like, I got to do something else. I got to do something peaceful or fun. And if I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it, like YouTube. I do it when I want, right? And if I decide I don't want to do it anymore because I'm getting too much agita, I just don't do it anymore, right? Yeah, the diocese did have the best lawyers too, Ann Smith. But the statute was up. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, they had a pretty, I argued fraud. I argued RICO. I argued everything. And if you find the New York Times article on me, I sued for $1 billion because I wanted to make a point. I sued for $1 billion. That's why I think the LA Times picked it up. Jerry Gray says, I love the satin pillowcases and got another 4 for my daughter. What pillow do you like? My pillows are like feather pillows. Like I have to have feather pillows and I don't even know where you can buy them anymore because mine are probably, I've had them for a very long time and I probably should replace them, but I don't like those synthetic pillows. I don't like those really expensive pillows. I like the ones with feathers that are really squishy. So I think pillows are a very personal gift, almost as personal as like perfume. Like it's like everyone's got a signature scent and it's hard to buy perfume for a person. You know what I mean? And I think pillows are also very a personal item. But if you guys have a pillow in mind that you like, let Jerry know because he wants to buy his daughter some pillows. You kind of got to like coop pillows. Are they feather? You kind of got to test them all out. Like you can go to TJ Maxx and they got like 1 million pillows there, but like until you really like lay on it, you really can't. It's hard to buy for someone else. And if you're a stomach sleeper, you need a different pillow than if you're a back sleeper, right? Oh, look, here's Lover from Tails. She says, Happy Thanksgiving Day. Mel, you always make me laugh and make my long drives fly by. Adore your face. I adore your face too. You're so cute. Keep doing what you're doing. Ready anytime to go to Cancun and wear my shirt. Woohoo. LFG. It's coming up in January. If you want to go see Dave Matthews in Cancun, come. Come. Just let me know you're going to be there. Oh, that's a great idea. Anne says you can bring your feather pillows to a dry cleaner and have the pillows refluffed and sewed. Can they dry clean them too? Angie says, thank you for everything you did for the victims and survivors in New York. While my perp wasn't in the church, it still took years for him to finally be prosecuted. He took a plea. Well, thank God that you were able to follow through with that and get it done. Thank you, Fast Finance with Jenny, for tuning in, or Jennifer, for tuning in from Canada. Thank you. Thank you. Caroline says, how long do you think the Karen Reed civil case will take? Car insurance cases can take 2 to 3 years sometimes. Can't imagine how long this will take to go through. Can't only imagine. Well, the thing is, it's not a car accident. That's the thing. So if you're talking about the case against Karen Reed, the O'Keefe's versus Karen Reed, it's going to take far longer than that. Far longer. Karen Reed's car insurance company is never going to pay. The reason that they're defending her, and I saw this idiotic question somewhere out there, is like, okay, if it's not a car accident, why is your car accident insurance company defending her? Well, because she put them on notice that the people were accusing her of a car accident. If you think the ARCA guys were good, wait till you see who her insurance company probably has on retainer. Not that they're not going to look, not that they're not going to use ARCA because they very well may, but auto insurance companies have the very best accident reconstruction. It's like on speed dial and in-house, and they're not going to pay, in my opinion. So, I mean, it could take 10 years with all of these other defendants being involved, and now the civil rights cases, and now the O'Keefe's attorney says he may want the cases consolidated for purposes of discovery, maybe not for trial, but maybe for discovery. So I can't speculate, but it's going to take much longer than 2 to 3 years. I will tell you that. All right, you guys, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up. Thanks, Kia, for your Venmo. She says, I forwarded an email with things I would love from the store. I still need a concert t-shirt, but being in Florida, sleeveless is best. You're the oldest of 20 grandchildren. She said, and I spent this Thanksgiving with my pets, and it was honestly glorious. Thank you, Kia. You know, it takes a long time, I think, for people. Well, it did for me anyway, to enjoy like being alone. Like, because I was always surrounded by like family, and then I got married, and then I had kids, and I like there was always something going on. I always had the TV on for company, and it took a very, very, very long time for me to be comfortable being alone. And I'm so happy that my children are comfortable being alone, because that's a skill that not a lot of people have. You know, like a lot of people are like, I would never go to the movies alone. I would feel like a loser, or I would never go to the out to dinner alone. I would feel like a loser. And like it took me to get to a certain age before I like enjoyed it. Now I love it. I love it. So funny. I know. Lucy says, what's funny is thinking the twit-twats try to get under Melanie's skin when she spent so long fighting the church. Like, you ain't getting past that shell, beaches. I don't even pay attention. I don't even know what goes on over there. And if Will and Auntie Deb didn't do that stream the other day, I would have no idea about the Bare Naked Lady song that will not leave my head about if I had $1 million. The yellow lead Rose says the Hingham Mass priests BS was awful. They were sent to wherever. One of them was sent from Hingham to Watertown to be put in charge of the altar boys. Gross. Thank you for your work on this. Also, yeah, that reminds me. You're welcome. And also, they had like a pedo treatment camp in Pennsylvania. Okay. First of all, it is my very strong opinion that pedos cannot be rehabilitated. It is also my very strong opinion that homosexuality and pedophilia are two completely different things. Okay. Gay men do not target children and vice versa. That a-hole mayor in Quincy, what's his name again? Made a statement a couple weeks ago. We covered it. I couldn't even believe it. He said something like, yeah, that whole Catholic Church scandal thing, that was, that was homosexuality. It wasn't pedophilia. And that man should be shamed out of office, okay? They had a pedo treatment camp for priests in Pennsylvania that they would send these guys to and say, oh, Father so-and-so is away for treatment. In my opinion, having dealt with all of the victims and survivors that I did, there's no treatment, okay? Mayor Koch, right? Or Koch. I'm not sure how he pronounces it, but it's Koch, Caroline, right? Exactly. And so you're welcome. I don't think there's anything, I don't think there is any sort of remedy for that. I don't think there is any sort of rehabilitation for that. Oh, thank you, Be in Trouble, for being here the whole night. Love you. And here's the title of the LA Times article that I'm talking about. New York Diocese faces suits seeking $1.45 billion. Thank you. That was in the LA Times archives, April 15th, 2003. Thank you. Thanks for looking it up, Columbo wannabe. And really, I think you're doing Columbo work. Thanks, Be in Trouble. I think you're not just a wannabe. I think you are. Kat Randall said I had the best Thanksgiving nap. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Kelly says lead is the best remedy. I can't put that up there, but listen, there are some people like MICHAEL Fosler, right, who Aaron Spencer killed. I mean, he did kill him. There's no question about that. Sometimes Dexter needs to be the mascot because the oldest defense in the book is he needed killing. That's another word for self-defense. He needed killing. Okay? Sometimes Dexter needs to be our mascot. Thank you, Kat Randall. Wash your feather pillows in your washer. You've had my, I can do that. And then can I put them in the dryer too? Okay. All right. Free Aaron Spencer. We got people to free. Okay. Turtle Boy should not be facing close to 100 years in jail. I don't care if you hate him. I don't care if you like him. Facts are facts, okay? And nothing he did deserves 100 years in jail. And yes, he is still facing up to that. That is the max that he could be facing, okay? Aaron Spencer needs to be freed. And he also needs to become the mayor of Lonoke County. Or not the mayor, the sheriff. He's running for sheriff. Kelsey Fitzsimmons should not be in jail away from her breastfeeding infant, okay? It's insane. You let it air dry? Okay, good. Penis Blue says, Florida has a pedo village called Miracle Village. Kids can live there. It's so disturbing. I call it out whenever I can. Kia? I don't know. That's revolting to me. Kyla, thank you very much, says on Venmo. So sweet to do the live today, jumping in super late, but thankful. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are alone, here, far be it from me not to help entertain you and the other, 2,300 people that are here spending time together, just talking about whatever. We did some stuff. With substance, but sometimes it's just more fun to just chat about other stuff, right? I think. And that's horrific to me. I'm gonna have to look at that. Melissa says, talking about movies, Sarah's Oil, a must-see documentary that has not been advertised. Where can we find it, Melissa? Where can we find it? Aaron says, that broke my heart when Kelsey said I love you to her parents before she was being taken away the other day. I know, it's horrible. And Olivia says, free Turtle Boy. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And now they want to try and indict Karen Reed on some more witness intimidation charges with Turtle Boy because they really, 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 really want to get her on something? Come on. What are we doing? What kind of pull do these people have, these House defendants? Because really, something's going on here, and we're not going to shut up about it until we get to the bottom of it. So when you take your case and you remove it to federal court, it falls under the category you better want what you wish for. Because yeah, maybe there's going to be no cameras in there, but federal judges know the law. They know the law, and they're going to know, based on the facts and the medicine and the science, that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. And so therefore, something else happened to John O'Keefe. And a federal judge, that's a pretty cushy job to get, by the way. You got to be pretty smart. They're going to know how horrific this investigation was, and they're going to be pretty up to snuff on what civil rights violations look like when you're trying to prosecute a woman for murder. So you better want what you wish for, because the friendlies, the judges that are friendlies are more like in the superior court level for you guys, maybe. I'm just saying. So again, you better want what you wish for. Bring it on. Do it. Might not be, it might not be the safe haven that you're looking for in federal court. I'm just saying. I've been practicing in federal court for over 30 years. So, I know a little something about federal court is all. You can't go in there with your abba Cosgrove and be like, oh, sorry, I just blew off a deadline and didn't tell anybody. And, I'd rather beg for permission, beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. So here's my motion with my papers saying, can I please file it late? And even though it's already 8 days late and then the judge just signs off on it. Yeah, that doesn't happen in federal court. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And Ann Smith coming in with a lot of hot comments tonight says, I can't figure out what they've got on these politicians or what the politicians are afraid of. I hope we figure it out. Music to My Soul says, I can't imagine how hard today must have been for Kelsey. Do you know which stream it was when you went over the restrictions for sending her mail? Actually, I copied and pasted them in the last stream that I did for Kelsey, which I will look up for you right now. And that was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, it has a red thumbnail. And I believe that, hold on, I cut and pasted the actual directions in the show notes for exactly the rules to the mail and the address. Go take a look, because her cards and letters from you guys are really, really, really helping to get her through. They're really helping, and you guys are amazing. And I know you want to help. And aside from donating to her fund, That's another great way to help, is just send her a letter of support. And Annie says, I put my ex-husband in for 16 years for crimes against my daughter. He took an Alfred plea. She told them so much and he couldn't fight it. Thank you. And thank you for, thank God that your daughter had you as a mom. And thank God that she was able to disclose early enough that you could still prosecute him. And thank God that, because listen, the sad reality of it is that most people never disclose. And most people, at least the victims and survivors that I worked with, did not disclose until they were in their 30s, 40s, 50s, had never told a soul. And so the fact that your daughter was young enough and she trusted you enough to tell you, or someone else who told you, speaks volumes. And also, same thing with Aaron Spencer's daughter. Except I think Aaron Spencer's daughter, they found out a different way. They found out from, I think, the family member that was MICHAEL FOSLER's girlfriend, because maybe, I don't know. There's a lot to that. But the fact that they were able to find out, and hopefully Aaron Spencer will be free soon, and he will be the next sheriff of Lonoke County. And that trial in Arkansas will be happening, I think, third week in January. Nicole says, I have family in Norfolk County, and they say the police in their county and state have always been corrupt. They were told by their cop friends not to trust the police. Sad but true. I mean, I told that story. That's one of the reasons I got involved in this case, is because I was married to someone who I met in college who was from Norfolk County. And he told me all those years ago in college how corrupt the police in his town were and in his county were, how corrupt. And then when the Karen Reed case came to light, I was like, oh my God, that's Norfolk County. I got to look into this more. And I did. And very, very sadly and tragically, after I was completely trolled, doxxed, and everything else, because I started covering the case in January of 2024. He's the father of 2 of my children. I have 5 kids. I started covering this case in January of 2024. We were on good terms. We still had 2 kids together who were adults by then. And in February, after I was being relentlessly trolled about being in this for the money and the clicks and the likes, and I'm like, no amount of me saying like, I'm too old to care about clicks and likes, and I know this man didn't get hit by a car, and I know about the history of Norfolk County from a man that I was married to, and have 2 children with. Very sadly, in February of 2024, he died of a heart attack, leaving a wife and some very young children. So that was tragic. It's real. And I know about the corruption in Norfolk County because I heard about it firsthand for decades. Okay. So people that live there know that too. So there's that. Right? I know. Such a bunch of idiots. All right. Just keep swimming. Here we go. We're the best. You guys are the best. All right. I'm going to get wrapped tonight because my voice is tired. And I'm sure we're going to do something tomorrow. And we have lots of papers to go over. But tonight was supposed to be more about keeping you guys company and keeping other people company who are alone on the holidays and just being together and like having like some fun if we could. And we did. I think we had some fun, right? Thank you very much. All righty. Thank you, Mitchell. Thank you, Mitchell. Mitchell says he watches me on his TV and he sits right across from me and it's like I'm in his living room eating dinner with him. I think it's awesome. Thank you. Flummoxification for your 20 that says, happy Thanksgiving from someone that could never thank you enough for being you. Oh, you guys are amazing. Wait, when is there going to be a standout? Standout at Canton. Thank you, Flummoxification for your 20. Standout at Canton PD, 11 to 1. Okay, but when? Tomorrow? I'm like, November 1st? Wait, we're past November 1st, you guys. It's November 27th. Tomorrow, from 11 to 1. If you guys want to go, Diane Gallagher is telling you there's a stand-up tomorrow from 11 to 1 at Canton PD. If you want to be boots on the ground, if you want to feel like you're doing something, if you want to feel like you're part of something and you're sick and tired, there's a lot of new papers on Aaron Spencer. Yes, I'm aware of that as well. We will cover that as well. Our Brinsfield, we have a long weekend here because we got a lot of stuff to to catch up on, because Monday we're starting the Brian Walsh trial with opening statements. And Lucy says, how do I admit that the only reason I love my job is because I can listen to Melanie's streams? Oh, thank you, Melissa. I didn't flag anything. The chat's flying by. I can't. Yeah, I do know December 5th is not canceled. It's going to be on Zoom for Turtle Boy. It may have something to do with the fact that the Brian Walsh trial is going to be going on. And I thought that initially. I said, listen, they're probably going to have the Brian Walsh trial in the morning, then break for the afternoon when Turtle Boy comes in. But I do know December 5th is going to be on Zoom because of the late response by Cosgrove. And I'm sure Bettero is chomping at the bit to respond to that piece of ridiculousness. So there's that. Melissa said, just to confirm, I didn't feel that Melanie flagged me. Please just go watch Sarah's Oil. It's a beautiful true story. I don't know what it's about, so I don't know who flagged you or what, but YouTube is just weird. I have to go through the chat afterwards and like make sure everybody was, being okay. Thank you, Scott Messerschmidt, for being here tonight. And Scott for being here tonight. The other Scott for being here tonight. And Olivia for being here tonight. And all the amazing moderators who make this job amazingly. I couldn't do it without you guys. Little Cupcake, I don't know if she was here, but Team Brittany, I don't know if she was here, but thank you. So do all the things that YouTube likes kindly. And, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Listen, a lot of you are not subscribed and you think you are. A lot of you don't have your notifications set and you think you do. You have to make sure your notifications are set to all, and you have to make sure your phone has enabled your notifications for YouTube. Otherwise, you're never going to know when we go live. But I did have a great time hanging out with you guys tonight. And basically, it's because you are the best chat on the internet. You are the Snark Tank. I love each and every one of you for hanging out with me today and every day. So whatever you do, stay cool, stay kind, stay classy, and stay safe out there, because there's a lot of people that want to tear you down. There's a lot of agents of chaos out there and rage baiters, and you're too good for that. Just don't pay attention. Just don't open certain apps. I haven't opened Facebook in years and I've never been happier. Every time I open Facebook, I'm like, why did I do this? It just makes me mad. I don't even know why. Facebook isn't even the worst of them. You can do it. I know that you can. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't know what time yet, though. That's why you want your notifications set. All right? Peace out. Good night. Happy Thanksgiving. I am so thankful for you. Bye.